Hello, God? Are you out there?
There is no Dana, only Zool.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Well, there we go. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey!
That is one of the best collective facepalm images I've ever seen.
Yeah, I have to try. I have to try and get that many people for facepalming around here. It's going to be hard.
I am very fond of that picture. All right.
One
Well, let us.
Richard's running away.
Oh, okay, Richard. Thanks for stopping by.
No, he's going to play off work today, so he doesn't. So we can just go with it.
Cool.
Looks like he might actually be here the whole time.
Nice. Right.
We just had a drive-by Brumby.
Are you sure he's going to stay when we announce who the topic of the show is?
All right. Yeah. Hello, Richard.
I just like to put out a safety warning. Safety warning for all those listening. If you are going to face palm, protective clothing.
Indeed. Indeed. And all right. First, let us get some housekeeping out of the way. First up, if anyone is interested in joining in the effort to document the Equinox, just basic data set. He'll jump in if you'd like at any old time. Basic data is, where the sun rises or sets, depending on your location, or both if possible, and angle at noon.
Three major things. Or I guess four if you count sunset and sunrise as different things. Basically, on the equinox, the sun should rise due east, set due west, and the angle of elevation of the sun should be 90 minus your latitude, and that should equal the angle of elevation of the sun at solar noon. And also, one more thing to measure would be the length of the day, where it should be just about 12 hours, again, depending on exactly where you are.
Okay.
Right. I had a good argument against this, which was equinox is a made-up word.
That is a true statement.
So should we cancel
all words
it?
Are made up. That's just the way the rules work. The question, of course, is: does the word that is made up have a meaning within existence, or did you just pull something completely out of your ass?
Well, new words come into existence all the time. All that's needed is a tradition. That's really all you need, and poof, you get a new word.
Yeah,
just the type of thing a chimp on a ball would say, though.
Yeah, P.P. Simmons and his whole new variety of science origins theory.
Alrighty, let us.
And now for something completely different.
Oh yeah,
Monty Python.
Actually, oddly enough, it's something completely different.
And tonight I'll be playing the part of the unintelligent skeptic.
Okay. Housekeeping Part 2, the sequel. This is the big news. Pursuant to last week's discussion, what I can remember of it anyway, we now own punbay.com. Website will be under construction, and that should be kind of fun, considering that is pretty much the favorite form of humor that I've noticed among our little group. That's it for housekeeping. That's what we got. Now, this time I'm going to remember. We got some Jeranism vids coming, so I would like to apologize to, everyone. There we go.
She cannot handle it, Captain.
I strongly recommend that you water your paint thinner by 4-to-1, just so you have enough and you're not completely dead by the end.
Yes, that would be a good thing. If
Hey,
you're doing gin and tonics, make them mostly tonics, just for safety.
Yeah.
But Cy, do you hear that? Do you hear that noise? That's the sound of attendance dropping. People running for cover.
I knew I should have just made it a surprise. Then at least they hang on for a little bit. Alrighty. Now, I think we all agreed that the first thing we should unwisely jump into is Jaren's announcement. Preliminary details of the 3-mile curvature test happening soon. That's not much of a title, is it? It lacks power. Anyway, we're going to take a look at that one first.
Brain power.
Okay.
Amongst a great many other things.
Well, I like the way he's put 3 mile in there. You know, just to, I don't know, make it more controversial.
Indeed. Hey, guess who's here?
Hey, Red.
Hi, Red.
Hey.
Someone sensible. Fuck.
Wow.
Did you sense a disturbance in the force, Red?
Okay, I got a question. Who the hell is shining the red symbol in the clouds? I told you to only do that for emergencies and if there's a Jarenism video I need to comment on.
It was me. It was me.
God damn it, Jared. Okay, is it an actual Jarenism video or are you just pulling my chain again?
No, we have actual Jarenism
videos. Okay, let me get the 4G running. Let's do this.
All right. As we're saying, in case you missed it, is the first one up is Jarenism's announcement is the preliminary details of the 3-mile curvature test happening soon. Which we all know if it doesn't go well, all traces of it are going to disappear from his channel. Here we go.
Except that we will still have a copy.
That we will.
I was going to say, soon in this case means never.
I'm sure I'll take a whack at it. Anyway, here we go. Everybody knows rules. If you say if, I actually use the word if. When he says something sufficiently stupid that it actually demands a response, just yell drink, we'll stop the video, and you get to say your piece. Try not to talk over each other. Play like Ethernet. Listen first. If you hear somebody already blabbing, wait. So, alright, so everybody's Ethernet cards today. Here we go. Preliminary details of 3-mile curvature test happening soon. Here it comes.
Astronauts to the moon.
And I'm sorry.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2,
Jesus.
1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, volume level.
Yeah, with your audio.
Wow, what the hell?
Okay, first call for drink. My volume levels wander around a little in these things too, but I've never actually killed anybody with them like this.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and call drink right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be good. I'll just grab what's left of the bottle.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, so I'm calling drink right now. Hey, Jaren, remember that conversation we had about how you should like totally shorten your intros? See, you still haven't taken my advice on that. Holy shit, dude.
Oh, speaking of that, Red, after you guys had that discussion, I've commented that exact thing at least 5 times. Each of them got deleted.
I mean, it's good advice. I mean, hell, I mean, no love lost between me and that douchebag. If his videos fail tomorrow, I'm not going to care. But, dude, at the very least, shorten your damn intros. My intro is 7 seconds long. Come on, dude. Do something similar.
Indeed. Okay, I'd say that was a good call for Drake. All right. And, that's Lord Crocus Squirrel. We haven't told everyone we have an added feature.
Yes, we do.
In addition, this was... insisted upon by Lord Crocus Squirrel over there.
If Mr. Jaren says something that is so incredibly outrageous that you think that we can readily compare him to the average strange quark, say click.
And when that happens, you get this.
You don't know Jack!
This was insisted upon by Lord Croc Squirrel, and I like it. Okay, let's carry on with the Jarrow nonsense. Here we go.
Is a mirage. What's going on, everyone? It's Jaronism back with another video for you today. The curvature test. Well, coming soon. Nothing is set in stone yet, but today I wanted to talk about it and then ask for comments or concerns, suggestions, and ideas. And we'll go from there.
Drink.
I don't even know who called that first.
Me.
All right, you're up.
Yeah, it was one of us.
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
One of you take it then.
All right. So I'll take it. I'll take it.
He wants comments. That's anything that says it. Anything that gives him an idea, points in the general direction of scientific method, will get deleted immediately.
Odds are.
Basically, my one here is he says nothing is set in stone. Well, quite literally, the Earth is set in stone. I mean, that's what the crust is, basically.
Okay.
I'm just saying, his language.
And he wants advice. Go out and actually do it, and then show the results. Don't say you're going to do it, and then not actually follow through.
Well, I'm sure he does follow through at times. It's just that it doesn't turn out as expected. That's when everything disappears.
I actually have a better idea.
Yes.
Do it live.
He won't do that.
That's your
yeah, because that way it can't be deleted if he does it live. Not only that, but it keeps the little shit honest.
Well, now, I mean, to be honest, he'd probably just be using a fisheye camera anyway.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that'll automatically render everything useless.
Okay, Red, you use the word Jaronism and honest in the same sentence.
I am washing my mouth out with soap as we speak.
Yes, please. Okay, quick comment there. Fenno, actually, believe it or not, TLD refers to Pastor Carl as PP and his friend Mike Shoesmith as Piss Pants. Just so you have that. Okay, moving on.
All right, and I should mention we've made it a whole 37 seconds into the video. Here we go.
So first, let's go through kind of a quick overview. So, the curvature test. It is 2 tests on one day, and the test will be at a slough in the Sacramento area, and that slough has a river that's 3 miles, totally straight, where we will answer the question, does the Earth curve 72 inches over 3 miles distance?
What?
I think that the test will be fun, fairly easy, and will be able to give us an answer to our question. We will be using 2 high-end leveled lasers and a theodolite.
Drink.
Okay.
Right. So basically, he's going to go to something, make sure it's flat, and then measure to see if it's flat.
I think so.
Yeah.
Something of that sort. Yes.
But he wants a drop of some 6 feet over 3 miles.
Plus,
and water will do that, will it?
No, actually, it won't.
I mean, if you just dig a big puddle, it's gonna. I don't know.
Well, we know he's using. We know he's using the 8 inches per mile squared because that's the only thing you can remember. The actual that doesn't help you with what disappears behind the horizon because there's no place for observer height and there's no place for your refraction. Where you are tangent to the horizon.
I told him how to do this. It's very easy, and you don't use lasers. All right. Yes, you can use a laser, but then you have a problem with atmospheric refraction, and that leads to a whole bunch of issues. And we also figured out that Jaron doesn't know the definition of what is and is not an actual good laser. What is defined as a good laser? A good laser from him is a shit one he got off of eBay. So what you do is you set up 3 posts that are at the same height above the water over a 3-mile span. So one right next to you, 1.5 miles away, and the other one twice the distance. try to align all three of them and be amazed at the impossibility of it. You'll be able to line up two of them via a straight line of sight. Good fucking luck getting all three of them to line up. You won't be able to because the Earth is round. Who would have thought, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Amazing. Well, maybe he just wanted some props. Maybe that's why he did not take your advice on that topic, and just wanted some lasers and theodolites and things of that sort for effect.
Maybe he actually read the book to find out that that's how a certain someone lost the bets when it came to a flat Earth thing. There's history involved there, so.
Robotham is the one that lost the bet.
And yep, exactly. So maybe he already knows the ass kicking that's going to be waiting for him if he does it that way. So he's just going to go with lasers and be like, "Yay! I have a high power laser. I'm going to fuck this up just like Dr. Zach did."
Yep. And for exactly the same reasons.
And for exactly the same reason, it's going to be a laser across water. I'm going to fuck it up. Therefore, Earth is flat. I didn't come from no damn monkey.
See, I don't really see the point in using lasers. I mean, you can't use them for precise measurements in this kind of sense.
Nope.
I mean, is he expecting to measure the 6 feet of drop with a laser?
That's exactly what he's trying to do.
He seems to think
that a laser stays. Yeah, he seems to think that a laser stays at the pinpoint collimation that it is when it's right at the aperture when it's emitted. He forgets that it actually comes out and diverges and becomes a massive cone over multiple miles of distance.
Oh, he knows that. He's just ignoring it because when he tried this shit the last time over, it was Lover's Point in California, he actually admitted on his video that the spread was like 15 feet wide across the 3-mile stretch.
And it's not going to change it. That's not going to change.
So he already knows these problems, and he obviously doesn't have the sense of enough equipment to make sure the damn things are level to begin with. Not that flat earthers understand the definition of level anyway, but that's another story, which is why together and go with my idea, which gets rid of that as, a factor. The quality of the laser as a factor. What should we expect to see on a flat Earth? We should expect to see 3 posts being able to be lined up perfectly with your line of sight. The fact that that's an impossibility over that 3-mile stretch should tell you something if you know basic geometry.
And your plan has the advantage of, with the tops of the poles equidistant from the surface of the water, they're above the temperature differential that might exist and cause refraction and screw up your results.
Exactly.
So it is
who would have thought that a guy who has actually thought this thing through would have the better idea instead of someone who's just trying to, troll for clicks on the internet.
Well, Chernobyl actually makes money trolling for clicks, so it could be that we're all in the wrong business.
Yep. Who would have thought that lying to people on the internet could have been so profitable? Jeez, I'm in the wrong business.
You're making more money than I am, Red.
Yeah, that's because I have an honest job. Anyway, let's see what else this shithead has to say.
Yes, here we go.
And so, time to find out. And now I will cover the details a little closer so that you might have a better understanding of why I chose this particular experiment, why I feel it'll show me an answer one way or the other, and what, at the very least, do I expect to see from this experiment. I'll also be asking for your comments or concerns, so let's get into it. The curvature test. Okay, so here we go. This test is based off of the basic idea that water always finds its level. Something globe believers and flat earthers both believe, with one major difference. Flat earthers believe that water finds its level and hence remains level. Level is in a plane. Globe believers, they use the same term, level, but they mean level as in equal distance from the center of a sphere. So the question then becomes, is there a way that we can tell through measurements or determine, is water level because it's equal distance from the center of the Earth, or is the Earth a flat and level plane? Of course,
flat
earthers
alright.
You don't know Jack!
There you go.
Believe that the flat plane has peaks and valleys, oceans, lakes, islands, etc. But they believe that water is always level. At no time is water upside down compared to another water. If someone in the USA is having a drink, say at the beach, And also at the same time,
wait, he called drink. He called drink. He called it on himself.
That's why I.
Hey, Jizza. Hey, Jizza.
Okay.
I need to, if I may, I'm going to quote a rather famous YouTuber. Gravity, you fucking retard.
And not just that. The reason why I called it is because there are a couple YouTubers, one in Australia, one up in the Midwest. They did the test for draining a pool and showed the Coriolis effect that showed they are on two separate halves of a fucking sphere.
That was a decent video. I enjoyed that. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I can't tell if Jeranism's graphics have gotten better or worse.
Yes.
Laziness will do crazy things to your videos.
All right, moving on.
Somebody's in Australia, also at the beach, and also having a drink. Well, those two people are both upright in respect to each other. Nobody is upside down compared to another. The Globe Believer believes that at any time...
Okay, you're up.
I think that's photoshopped. I don't think that's a real picture.
You may be right. You may be pulling a fast one on us here. But
well done. 10 points to Gryffindor for you.
Indeed. And this is all filler anyway. This is just to make it longer. None of this is necessary to describe his experiment. Here we go.
I mean, does he honestly think that the flat earthers don't understand the concept he's trying to explain? They all know what this is.
Yeah, but they like to hear it. It makes them feel all comfy. The one thing that I still don't understand.
They all know.
I mean, how many times have we told them that up is relative?
Yeah.
It must be true, guys. Come on, space sharks. How fucking cool is that?
Space shoes.
Here we go.
Tankers, planes, and birds, rivers and lakes are always running upside down compared to one other spot, say opposite on the globe. Of course, we all know that's kind of ridiculous, so they do use a metaphysical idea that we all occupy the top of the globe.
Metaphysical.
As if it's only important for each of us
to
concentrate on our own.
Wait.
All right.
What?
Complete and utter fucking word salad.
I don't even know where to
Is
start.
this a Jeranism video, or are we watching a Ronnie video?
We're watching. This is actually Jeranism. It came off his channel.
Oh, so he's just learning from the wrong teacher. Okay, noted.
Okay.
Personal.
Can I take it?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. First of all, just so much no. It's not okay. Okay, it's not a metaphysical idea like everyone is on the top of the earth in some sense. There is no top. There is no up. Just stop. The only way up or down makes sense is in relation to gravity. So gravity is down. Like the direction that gravity pulls is down, and that is different for each individual person. If you want to call that a metaphysical being on top of each person being on top of a ball, then sure, but it's wrong.
I would tend to agree. All right, here we go.
Perspective,
no spoon.
so every person gets the top of the ball. Well, I feel that there is a way to finally measure and prove which is actually true.
Tell us.
Enter the curvature test. So if water lies flat and level, then a straight line, like one from a laser, if leveled at one end, should be 72 inches higher after 3 miles.
Okay, two things. First of all, a laser isn't necessarily going to travel a perfectly straight line. Like there's not only there's the beam diverging, and you also have refraction to deal with. And also there's this dumb as shit Earth fucking 8 inches per mile fucking square that doesn't take into account the height of the observer.
Agreed. Nice call.
Yeah, that.
Because it's actually a triangle. Not a straight line. You're talking about a triangle here.
Maybe I should start a fundraiser to actually go to this spot and do the test properly.
Might actually be worth it. You could do it live.
Yeah, I could actually do it live. Of course, I'll have to, put on the proper headgear to avoid, not violating the Geneva Convention, but that can be worked around.
You mean a tinfoil hat, do you?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, SciStrike, have your eyes healed yet?
Just about. I am real close to the monitor though.
Okay, that works too. Okay, so yeah.
Now, Red, I got an idea. We should find out what day he's actually planning on doing this, and be on the other side of it, waving across at him.
Doing the same experiment.
We'll probably have to giant for him.
What a coincidence!
Everybody would have to put up. Everybody sit on the other end of that and put up 132.
Yeah, we'll
see if he sees that.
No. It's okay. We'll be filming it live for him just to keep him honest, and then I'll yell from afar, "You're being filmed on the P900, bitch!"
Just hold up a sign that says, "You're a dumbass."
Now, it's not that I was ignoring Jaredism, but I was ignoring Jaredism. Where did he say this place was? What state? Where is this? What state is this in?
California. It's in the Bay Area.
Probably Cali.
All right.
San Francisco.
You know, I'd be willing to do an expedition. If anybody else is in, let me know. All right, here we go.
SciStrike, I just want to warn you, that is literally the opposite side of the country from you.
Yes, it is.
And me. And Red.
Oh, and
we have these things that smart people have made. They're called planes.
Yeah,
that's crazy talk.
Also,
I plan on using them.
Also, Hill has never met Bob the Wonder Jeep, obviously.
I obviously have not. And also, I just one quick thing. I checked the classic metabunk thing. If his observer height is even 1 foot, the even refracted hidden goes down to 1.6 feet. So, just saying.
Okay. Wow, a whole 3 minutes and 30 seconds. With that long intro, we're at 3:30. Here we go.
Using the generally accepted curvature formula of 8 inches per mile squared.
Drake,
no, you're not.
Drake, generally accepted. By whom?
No. Let's just forgive it this time. We've already addressed it before he even said it. Let's just keep going.
All right, well,
just play the
3 miles, so we have 8 inches times 3 times 3, which is 72 inches or 6 feet. All right, so as I said, there is a slough near Sacramento, California.
Somebody call for click.
Yeah, there was a call for click, and
here's your click.
You don't know Jack.
Okay, now go ahead.
Dude, don't try to do math. You're just gonna hurt yourself, or make one of us hurt you.
Not only that, but I thought this douchebag was saying over and over again, math is not reality. So why are you using math to try and describe reality?
Because it would work in his favor this time, and he fucking well knows it.
Yes,
I see. So he's basically being a hypocrite.
But they also use Google Earth while screaming about CGI.
He's not going to get the result he's expecting, and he fucking well knows it. We all know that.
Indeed. Here we go.
California, you are looking at it now. That is one of the offshoots of the Sacramento River. The total distance is actually closer to 4 miles, but for this test, we will be doing 3. Now, it may look like it's kind of short, but if you take a look at the center of your screen towards the bottom, you'll see how tiny a truck is. Sitting right there, you'll see the white truck. So it is a lot further than it looks from here. Now, we're going to take another view. This is a view looking the other direction, coming back. You'll see that area. Now, if you look on your right, you're going to see a yellow dot. That yellow dot is actually where the laser, as well as the theodolite, will be set up. So now we've turned the view again, and you'll see that that pink circle is exactly the same spot. That is where we will be setting up. Now we're looking from above, and again, you'll see the yellow dot. You'll also see...
But, hey, Drake, couldn't he have just said it's 3 miles long and be done with it? Why is he doing this?
Mark some spots here that can be used for parking for those who are going to join us on that day. All right, and as we pan back to take a look at the whole scene again, you'll see that the pink circle's down there. You'll also see that I've now marked off the entire 3 mile distance according to Google Earth. And then now you'll see that I also put red dots at each half-mile marker. So that constitutes the entire 3 mile, 6 sections of 1/2 mile each. So now I'm going to go over some of the things that are needed.
Yes? What was that?
He has no center post.
Needed for this
he
test.
Can't tell what the curvature is going to be without something at 1.5 miles.
So his method is not good. Okay.
His method is flawed just off the start.
Before.
And here's the fun part. You see, even if he had 6 feet of drop off, even if he got the expected 6 feet of drop off, the laser would be 6 feet above the other end of the receiver.
Okay. Okay, now we're getting into some real science here. We're talking about the Home Depot. Here we go.
Actually,
yes.
just wait 1 second. You know, the thing I don't understand about this is I don't know what Jaren exactly is expecting to get, because I remember something he said the other day when he was talking to Soundly is that, you know, on Glowbusters, is he was saying that, you know, the atmosphere just makes the entire, you know, world just appear curved. So basically they took that and reverse engineered that to make the globe of, I don't know, however many miles in circumference. So basically if he gets the, you know, math that, so if he gets 6 feet of drop, he'll just say that, oh, well, that just confirms what I was saying, that they reverse engineered this. And if he gets it flat, then they'll say it's flat. So either way, he's going to say it's flat.
I can answer
he's rigged the result so he can't be wrong.
I can answer the first part of your question there, which is, what does he hope to get from this? It looks like he hopes to get 7 bouquets.
Here we go.
List, and also not very expensive. First item being that we need 7 of these orange buckets. After that, we're going to be purchasing some posts. They are 4 inches by 4 inches by 8 feet, and we're going to be needing 7 of those, which puts us at about $10 each, or $70. We're also going to be purchasing 4 bags of natural play sand, and that will be to place that into the buckets, which will secure our posts. And then we're also going to add a little bit of concrete mix to hold those even better. We'll just put a little bit in each one, and then we'll have those posts secured. I'll also have my tripod.
I got an idea.
Yes.
Why doesn't he use that cement in a couple of those buckets and make shoes out of them, and then go for a walk in the water?
Okay.
No, if you can't tell, I don't like this guy.
I sort of got that impression. I wasn't 100% sure, but thanks for clearing that up.
My laser is set up with the adapter so that it sits right on top of the tripod. And speaking of the laser, we have 2 of them, thanks to Bob for providing the second one. We have a 3-watt laser and also a 2-watt laser. Both of them are blue beam, and we'll talk a little bit more about the lasers towards the end. We also have our 6800 lumen portable sun. The thing is awesome, and we will have that with us as well. Now, some other items that we have yet to purchase because I want...
Yes?
Hold on.
Yes?
What the hell does he need with a portable sun? Why is this even necessary?
Does wonders for
He
solar
needs
power.
his own personal.
He does.
Yeah, you know, all he really needs is the posts and the camera. Do my idea. It's a lot simpler. Come on, dude.
He only needs 3 posts.
He only needs
I think
3
he needs
posts.
a bit more than that. He also needs a school, teachers, education, some kind of rational sort of like thinking. He probably needs some parents that give a fuck as well.
Well,
I think we should probably
now we're just
start with
asking too much.
Miracle
We're
workers.
asking way too much at this point. You know, parents who
Food
give a
button?
fuck? Come on.
Hey, Food Button. The reason he isn't doing the Bedford level experiment because he thinks it's inherently flawed.
And what's so different between his setup so far?
Home Depot.
Lasers.
Oh no,
Lasers.
lasers, freaking
Freaking
lasers.
laser beams.
All right.
Wanted to get some input from everybody.
Kind of
This
device that can
here
actually
is
do,
a
do
Johnson
direct
leveling
measuring, like a
tool. It's
ruler.
for pitch and slope locations. Might be nice to have. Also, we want digital levels, so like this one here. You will see it's about $45 for this one, but it's magnetic. We think it would be great to put on the laser
On those wooden posts.
to make sure it's level. There's also these little
Freaking magnets
digipasses
as well.
with a mini pocket-sized digital level.
Fucking magnets.
I
How do
guess
they
the
work?
question becomes, what do you think is better? Is it better to get one of the best leveling devices that they have, or, you know, obviously within range? I've seen some for around $80, $90. Or do you think it's better to get 2 less expensive ones? In my opinion, I think I'd rather have 2 less expensive ones, because otherwise we're banking entirely on 1 digital level. If we get 2, say 2 at $30 a piece.
Hell, you're up.
Just get a bubble level.
Yeah, you don't need a digital.
I mean, get 2. I mean, sure, get an electronic one if you want. I mean, I guess the more the better. Just like don't ever do it, and don't. And,
here's the problem with it, with any kind of a level he can want to use, is that he has to be able to guarantee that the posts that he's putting up comes exactly straight, and that the wooden beams are completely flat on the ends.
I can say,
and there's a reason for him selecting a digital level. This way, when it blows up in his face, he can say, well, the levels were programmed wrong to make it seem like there's curvature.
Or NASA levels.
Frank.
Okay, that's right.
That's the stupid.
No,
that is in there somewhere.
That is the deep stupid. That is not just stupid. That is profoundly stupid.
You know that's what he would say.
The problem is he's adding more and more layers of complexity to something that doesn't need it. I mean, he's putting a laser on top of a tripod on top of a post in the ground, and he wants that all to be perfectly level.
Yeah.
That won't happen. We already know that won't happen.
Got to make the video more than 10 minutes, right?
You need 3 posts and a camera, dude. I just made this observation so easy. Why won't you listen to anyone that's smarter than you?
Because he refuses to admit that anybody could be smarter than him.
That may be it.
You know, because he's the next Albert fucking Einstein or something.
Indeed.
Oh, dear.
All right. Moving on.
Piece or $40 a piece. Then we can wait until both levels read level, and I think that's a better feeling for me than one $80 level telling me it's level. I'd rather have 2 $40 levels telling me that we're level. So I'd appreciate your comments on that.
Why not just get a...
We'll also be renting a theater.
For what you're talking about now, you might as well just get a full set of... you might as well just get a full set of surveying gear and have done. It'd be cheaper.
Wait, what's the point of the posts at all? Why not just use tripods with levels?
Because that would cost more money, you see.
What the fuck?
All natural play sand. Please.
No, like, what is the point of the posts? He's just putting the posts in the ground and then putting stuff on top of the posts.
He's putting the posts in barrels full of concrete.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Well, maybe he'll explain it. I mean, we got.
I doubt that. I strongly doubt this.
He's not. The only way he can rig this more against him is if he's juggling while he's doing it.
Do you guys remember that part of the movie when the Joker says, "Do I really look like a guy with a plan?"
Okay, Richard. I'll keep that in mind. Don't mention Einstein, Chisholm, full conspirator. He's already gone full retard. I mean, he can't go much further down than he already has.
Oh, you would be surprised.
How many layers of complexity is this shit now? Like 8, 10?
Too many.
Thereabouts.
By the end of the video, it'll probably be somewhere in the 30s.
All right.
Yeah, well, he's already failed the Scotch bottle test. It's empty.
Already? Oh, this is dangerous. I knew we shouldn't have picked him again. All right. Ooh, who we got? Oh, Emma Rocket Man. Nice.
Oh, cool.
Hey, Emma.
Welcome.
Sorry.
How you doing, Rocket Man? Long time no visit.
Indeed.
Hang on. Hey, I'm muted. There we go.
There you go. Now we hear you.
Oh, we can hear you.
All right. So you know this is Jaren, right? And you joined of your own free will?
I have watched this video already, and there are some.
All right, that was a little bright. I think we missed the last half of your sentence.
Do we want it though?
Yeah, I think my headphones disconnected for a second.
Oh, there you go. That's perfect. Okay, sounded great that time. Okay, here we are with the more complexity to the relatively simple experiment. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's about $43 for the day is the price. It is a standard features David White model LT6 900. located very close to the place where we'll be. So I've already talked to those people, and that's been set up. Here's a picture of what that theodolite looks like. Also, we'll be purchasing just a small can of white paint. You're talking about $1 here, nothing more. And lastly, I'll be bringing my drill with a 2-inch drill bit. Besides that, guys, that is pretty much the items needed for the test. So let's get down to it.
What the fuck?
Okay,
right, so
drink.
Okay.
I'm guessing the drill bit is for doing brain surgery when you can't figure out the result.
I can only hope.
I mean, look at the screen. Look at all that shit. You just need the 3 posts and the camera.
Yeah, the camera's not even on. The camera's not even on the thing. What the hell would you need an artificial sun for? I still don't know.
Have you guys watched? Has anybody watched all of this thing yet before this?
No, we're doing it cold.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, I thought we could do it cold, and because maybe there would be some stupid. Maybe there would be some stupid that we would come across. I thought.
Maybe there would be some. Maybe.
I thought there might be some.
Oh, you thought there might be some. I think it's a conspiracy.
Respect
see, this is his clever plan, you see, because what he does is hide the stupid in stupid.
So it's indistinguishable.
We've already got some Inception level stupid going on. This is actually going to get worse. I'm hearing. Holy crap!
I guess so. All right. Well.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming he's about to get to the part where he tells us how much all the shit is going to cost, and it'd be like, so donate down below or something along those lines. Let's see if I'm right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's the only reason I could think of for mentioning the price of everything, including the $1 of paint. Here we go.
Here's kind of a master list of everything.
Yes, Hill.
Even among all of this stuff, he still has nothing to measure how high the laser is going to be. Like, he's expecting 6 feet of drop. Okay, what are you going to measure it with?
Don't use logic. Logic isn't allowed with this guy.
Let's play the video. I need confirmation that I'm right.
Okay, here we go.
All will be revealed.
Moving on.
That we're going to need. We have the buckets with the posts in them. We have actually 2 lasers, a 2-watt and a 3-watt, not just one. The tripod, we've got the white paint, we've got the slope detector, we've got the level, we've got the portable sun, the drill, and the theodolite.
Yes, we
so
see
after
all the
that,
stuff.
we can begin the test.
Okay.
So, like I said, we'll be starting over here into
into
this pink spot. We'll make sure we have a nice level, flat spot for the setup of the tripod and the laser, and then also that same location will be used for the theodolite. Now we'll drop down and get a view from that little side street there, and you'll see we just got a straight shot road heading off down the slough. So what we'll do the day before or whatever is we'll get those buckets ready with the posts inside of them, and then we'll load my truck up so that they're all ready to go. Then what we'll do when we get there is start traveling down.
I'm pretty sure that is photoshopped. I mean, I'm a little ignorant of these things, but I'm guessing that you don't get luminescent buckets in the back of imaginary fake-looking trucks on what is obviously a Google Earth shot.
Well, you may be right. The technology is available to fake something like this. You may be right.
Okay. Right. I'm suspicious. Let's put it that way.
All right, good enough.
What you're forgetting, Seamus, is those are moon buckets.
That all makes sense. Okay, moving on.
Down the road with the truck.
I just hope that during actual tests he takes more care to make sure that the post with the bucket are actually that they are also level. Because if he just haphazardly puts them on the side of the road, there is no confirmation that they are even remotely going to be at the same height.
Okay, so the fact that he's driving down the middle of the road doesn't bother you at all, then? Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, here's the other thing.
This dude should not be driving, period.
There's one more thing of interest here.
Yes.
He's going to set those buckets up overnight. How are they actually going to be there when he gets back in the morning?
Are you proposing we snatch his buckets?
I'm proposing that he needs a license to do this from the state.
It also seems that when he takes the buckets off the back of the van, they get bigger.
Yeah.
Seems strange.
All right.
He hasn't thought this through. He hasn't.
I still need confirmation that I'm right, so let's play this thing.
Measuring half-mile distances, at which point we will drop off each bucket with the post inside of it. So by the end of that little trek, we'll have 6 buckets, each a half-mile away from the laser location, all the way down at the final one at 3 miles away. Let's continue. So when completed, you'll see something kind of like this. Obviously, these buckets and posts will be much further away from each other. It won't quite look like this, but just for demonstration purposes.
Okay,
so if we take
you're up.
Let's go back to that visual for a second, because I saw Soundly poke into the live chat, and
this one,
he can confirm this. Nope. With the 3 of them along the side of the road.
There you go.
All right. Yes, in fact, when you are looking down a stretch of road and there are multiple posts at regular intervals, the further down you go, yes, the closer together they look. It's almost like perspective is a thing, and we know how to account for it and predict it.
Indeed.
I wonder what that is.
You know what else was interesting? He mentioned how many posts? 6, right?
7.
Okay, he did say 7. Okay, cool. All right.
No, he said 6.
Okay, because that's what I was. I thought he heard 6 because I thought, wait a minute, you're forgetting the one at the end. That's like a school kid mistake. So he did say 6 then.
Yeah, and speaking of Soundly, he already did an observation with the posts, except they were kind of carrying wires across water, and they were curving with the curved water that was found that you fuckheads said didn't exist.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that one. I was talking about the mile markers on the causeway.
Yeah, that too. So again,
right.
He can skip the laser. That's the whole point of this thing. There is no point in getting a big laser. You just need posts and a camera. That's all you guys need. I instantly saved you guys a metric fuck ton of money.
You haven't heard what he wants to do with the laser yet. You gotta wait.
All right, it's coming. Here we go.
Wait a minute. It gets. Hang on. Did I just hear you correctly? It gets worse.
That's what he said.
Well, no, better in more stupid.
I was going to say worse.
Is that really better though? You know what? Semantics. I apologize. Let's continue.
Here we go.
For demonstration purposes. So if we take a look again at that original wide shot, so we can see the entire slough. I'm going to need you to pretend like you're on the right side for now, looking across to the side where we'll be doing the activities. This way it's just easier to explain. So let's head over there. You'll see those orange boxes are meant to kind of represent where the buckets would be, and you are the yellow dot again with your eyes fixed across the slough. All right, as I'm sure you can see, this is obviously way scaled down, but it is a good representation of the test, and it will help me explain exactly what we plan on doing. So the first thing will be, once everything's set up and lined up, is we will shoot the laser, which will then hit the first post. When it does, what we'll do is we'll take out that drill with the 2-inch drill bit, and we're going to drill right through the post at exactly the place where the laser hit it. We can mark it off.
You've got to be fucking
turn
kidding
off the
me.
laser, drill through it, and then we will have our first post hole done.
Great.
At that point, we're also going to...
Okay.
Okay.
Ty?
Hold on 1 second. Let me just confirm something. Let me just... Yep, still there. Still stupid.
Like I said, he's going to make sure something's flat and then measure it.
Okay.
Ty?
Yes?
Ty, you owe me another bottle of scotch.
All right.
Okay.
Acknowledged.
That's it. That's all I had to say. No words, just laughing.
Okay.
I see where this is going. I
see
where this is going, and this is my response, and I hope it comes through the mic.
Okay.
Oh, Sai, I think you also need to buy him a new mic as well.
Could be. Let's see. My first thought was Jeff Spicoli. Dude, that was my head. All right. Here we go.
No, I'm not the one that did the head testing. That guy can have a new mic.
Oh my god.
Me, I just wanted the bottle.
Well, that
My
is...
bottle is dead now.
I just thought Dave's not here right now.
All right, here we go. Let's
Hold on 1 second. Sorry, this is quite possibly the stupidest flat Earth test I've ever seen. Okay, let me actually just address it, just in case Jeranism does watch this at some point and wants us to address it, but I highly doubt. But okay, Jeranism, your test only works in the universe in which the Earth here, and second of all, because for refraction to not happen, and also in a universe in which lasers travel in a perfectly straight line with no deviation whatsoever. If those two things were the case, then your test could conceivably work, but they're not, so it won't.
All right,
you idiot.
Let's see what he does next. I'm all.
Oh my god, I don't want to keep living.
Here we go.
End my life.
I'm going to take a little bit of white paint and just paint that exact spot on the outside so that somebody from our vantage point here would be able to see exactly where that hole was. Next step will be to again turn on the laser. This time it will go through and hit post number 2. So you kind of get the point now here. We will take the drill out again, drill through post number 2. We will then take the white paint and also mark post number 2, and so on and so forth down the line until we get all the way down to the 3rd mile and the 6th post. Now,
inaccurate.
Talk about it in a second, but really at this point we're going to know one way or the other what's going on.
Stop, please.
Yes,
stop.
Hill. Yes, Hill.
He thinks the laser will go through the hole he drilled?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, how fucking precise does he think this laser is?
I told you.
Not
he
enough.
Doesn't think I told you he doesn't think it diverges at all.
It's a magic god laser.
First off, not only are we dealing with divergence, he's trying to refocus the laser beam by pushing it through the. Do you have any idea how much energy he's going to lose doing just that?
Well, 3 watts is a kick. 3 watts
he doesn't
is a
need
kick-ass
to drill a hole
laser.
through it. He doesn't need to drill a hole in the beam. He'll just burn a hole through it.
Yes, I'm a little worried about him having a 3-watt laser. Somebody's going to end up blind. But even with divergence,
please God, let it be him.
I can just envision him, pointing it up in the air, turning it on, and going, "Is this thing actually?"
I don't know why he's even bothering with a drill. I mean, he could just go and buy a blaster, right? And just.
I don't even know why he's bothering with the lasers and the $40 or $80 leveler when you could just get a bubble level, for fuck's sake. But all you need is 3 posts and a camera. You leave the drill at home. It's dangerous for you.
Yes, it is. But yeah, although with the
they did exactly this experiment in with Stephen Hawking's show on the BBC, except they had a boat on a lake, and the principle was you don't need to worry about the fact that the laser is going to fan out. You have a spot where you can see where the laser hits on a stick on a boat right on the shore, and as you move the boat farther and farther away, you discover, even though it's diffusing, the laser light starts going higher and higher and higher on the stick because the boat's getting lower and lower on the curving earth. So he could actually have the tools to do all of this stuff, but you're quite right, he doesn't need the damn drill.
Plus, he criticized that video you're mentioning in one of his previous presentations, and spent most of the time making fun of Stephen Hawking, as I recall, which was a dick move.
Oh yeah. Also, I'm going to shamelessly plug something here.
Okay.
That was actually the subject of a video that I made called the Fuckery Counter Challenge, where Jism had quite the number of fuckeries in that video. So yeah, you can go to my channel and watch it at your leisure. But first, stay here and subscribe to SciStrike because he deserves it.
Wow. I'm honored. Here we go.
In fact, you'll probably know by the 3rd or 4th post. We won't even need to get this far before we kind of have our answer.
What?
Regardless, we will be finishing the test.
Whoa,
wait, no.
Hang on. This isn't a drink. This isn't a drink. He actually said something factually right. You only need 3 posts to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, but that 3 posts would only make a mile and a half.
Yeah, and not only that, have we verified the distance of the ground that he's got these buckets sitting on versus water? And no, we have not.
No.
I mean, honestly, I'm fine with them having more than 3. I mean, you can do the sort of. I mean, how many poles a man has around his house is his business, but it just seems like
how many poles does a man have around the house?
All right,
unless it's Germany, of course, in which case it matters.
Well, that would be different.
Now I'm sad.
All right,
John. I mean, if he has more, that's fine. I mean, just get rid of the laser. You don't need the laser. Just replace it with a camera and just watch the poles slowly dip down. Longer stretch, they'll dip down more.
They wouldn't even dip down. Only the middle pole would be the one that would be up.
Yep.
Well, it depends on how you're trying to look at it. If you're aligning your line of sight between the first pole and the second pole, then the third pole will not meet that line of sight. If you're aligning your line of sight from the first to last, then the middle pole will stick up above both of them. No matter how you try to align all three of them with a perfect straight line of sight, it will be impossible. So I guess a good way of pissing off a flat earther is to actually do that. Have him try to align the camera so that all three are perfectly, level with each other, and watch him struggle to fight against basic geometry.
I think I've heard of something like that being done at some point in the past. Didn't turn
out. It's almost like someone actually lost the bet because of it.
Alfred Wallace won because he actually put controls on his shit.
Indeed. All right, moving on.
Karen doesn't have any
completion because we also have some other things we're testing, as well as a way to ensure that the results are definitive. So once that light goes all the way down and hits that sixth post and is going through it, we are going to then take the theodolite, which is also going to be set up where the laser was set up. And again, remember, everything was leveled. And when we take the theodolite and look through those holes, what do you think we'll see? Well, we're going to take the portable sun and we're going to pass it back and forth across that last hole. And the hope will be that the theodolite sees something like you see on your screen now, the light passing back and forth in front of it. Now, it is possible, and if I was a betting man, I might be betting on this outcome. It is possible at this point that we would find out that either the laser is not straight or a theodolite does not measure straight. That would take place when...
Okay.
Hold it.
He wants to make a bet that he's not going to see whether or not he's going to see what he wants. You know what? I will take that bet. You're not going to see what you want because the Earth isn't fucking flat.
Oh yeah, also, but in what he's just done now, think about this. Is what he's done so far. There's a lot of. I'm sure his viewers are. Oh, look at all the technical crap they're doing. But basically, it doesn't matter the height of the poles or the ground under them. Using the laser to drill the holes, it should over that distance. Even with divergence doesn't matter because what goes through the hole would still travel relatively straight. He's going to bore he's going to basically bore a straight line all the way through them, and then
at different heights on the poles.
And then test.
Yeah,
to
essentially,
see if it's
curvature
straight.
becomes irrelevant at this point.
Yeah,
he's going to be using the laser to mark the holes because that's the path that light is going to take anyway, regardless of the curvature. And then he's going to take that sun fucking light thing and pass it through the holes that light just made, that light carved the path in the first place.
And
so it's kind of redundant.
It's yeah,
and
it's
even
blatant
it's even
dishonesty,
worse in this case because he's just looking for, in the case of this sunlight thing, he's just looking for glare. So basically, if the theodolite sees any amount of light coming through from glare, it doesn't even have to be directly from the light, then he's going to say it's a success.
And why does he need a theodolite for that? I mean, would not.
I want to see the white paint marks. What I want to see is him pull all the posts together at the end, and then look at the heights of the paint of the paint marks.
That is not a bad idea.
Again, all this technical crap. Okay, here's my honest opinion at this point. All this technical crap is to woo the stupid viewers that this guy constantly brings in.
Exactly. It's
they're not smart enough to actually look at this shit and go, all of this is overly complicated and is not needed. All you need is 3 posts and a camera, making sure they're the same height above the water. That is very easy to do. You can do it with 3 poles, a tape measure, and a goddamn camera. Or binoculars even, if you're too poor to afford a fucking camera. I mean, hell, I'll even donate a camera to the cause. You wouldn't even have to buy this shit.
Fred, you got to remember, this is them doing actual science, and what we do isn't science.
Oh, jeez. See, the stupid, it hurts. It hurts so much.
All right, just to try and relieve that.
Basic experiment design is so thoroughly flawed that he's not going to get any workable result out of this.
Well, if he's doing what he just said he's doing, he's going to get the results that he wants.
There's no control here at all.
Indeed.
There is zero control. There is zero control, especially when you're using light. Get rid of the laser, get rid of the artificial sun, cut the number of poles down to only 3 of them, keep the camera, because believe me, we want a recording of this shit, and try to align all 3 of them when all 3 poles are equal distant above the water. That's all you need to do that over a 3-mile stretch, of course.
How much longer is this video?
We're actually approaching halfway through.
Oh, fucking hell.
Halfway? Yeah, right. Halfway. Almost halfway. We're 11:48 out of 26:27. Okay, that's... All right. Let us continue. Oh, Tao's in. Nice.
Just roll the tape.
Yeah, actually, you've been failing in your duties telling me to hold my head up there, Hill.
Yeah, I can't anymore. Oh, but hi, Tao.
Howdy, Tao. Welcome. Here we go.
Run.
Let the stupid... Yeah, really. What did you know what this was about before you jumped in? Here we go.
Yeah. Before you play the video, can you just play... Can you do a click and then play the video?
Do it up. Sure. All right, here you go.
You don't know Jack!
There you go.
Of seeing the light pass back and forth, actually saw wood, as in it was following along the open holes, but at some point it began to look off-center. So that is a possibility. If that did happen, that would be monumental, though, because what we would have done is prove that either lasers are not straight or theodolites don't measure straight. And, you know, I tend to think that it would be the theodolite that we would have proven.
One moment, please.
Okay. All right.
That's better.
See, I love the fact that he thinks he's going to drill a series of perfectly straight holes using a 2-inch spade bit and a hand drill through 4x4s.
And even better, that the laser won't diffuse on any of those at all.
The guy has no concept of what he's able to do. I mean, it's like those holes are going to be all cockeyed and all kinds of stuff.
And plus, keep in mind, I don't really trust Jism with power tools.
What? Are you not impressed by his construction skills? I'm sure you remember.
He is going to hurt himself, Sai. He is going to literally hurt himself.
I'm wondering if maybe that would be a bad thing. There,
he is a danger to himself and everyone else around him.
That's why we believe that Jared is going to hurt himself. I mean, think about this.
So I think for safety purposes, you know, to show that, you know, we show sympathy even to the other side, we need to send Jaronism some SciStrike oven mitts, just so he stays safe, he doesn't hurt himself.
You know, one on each hand will keep him from using that drill. That might be the best idea. All right.
I need to just send the guy a letter that has just one word on it. Don't.
With a pronunciation key. Here we go.
Isn't correctly measuring level across great distances, such as 3 miles. So then what we're going to do once we have that all completed is we're going to bring the theodolite over to the other side, now the side that we're on. And the very first thing we would do is we'd measure the distance between the water level and the white mark. That is the true measurement of level. Now, as we take steps towards the end, and we won't do each one.
Wait, what?
He's going to measure the distance. Instead of putting the poles in the water, like Red said, which would make a lot of sense, he's going to measure the distance between the white marks and the water.
Why can't you just go with a ruler? Why do he's measuring the angle?
He's not measuring an angle. He's just going to measure straight down. He's just going to measure straight down to the water line, and he's going to get it wrong.
Just bring a ruler. Just measure it directly.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He's trying. It's like I'm going as far as to say that he is It sounds like he's actually intentionally trying to add as many steps to make this as difficult as possible.
Well, yeah.
It would seem that way.
He has come up with
figured it out.
He has come up with an experiment here that is, no matter how careful you are, it's physically impossible to keep error from creeping into it. There are too many things wrong. too many things that you can be misaligned, too many things you've got to measure, complicated crap.
Again, follow the KISS method. Stupid. 3 poles. That's all you need, along with a camera. Okay? Trust me on this.
All right, moving on.
We will just go all the way to the last post and we'll measure it because, guess what? As crazy as it sounds, if you believe in the ball Earth, if you are a globe believer, then you believe that when we measure the distance from the water level to the drilled hole, that it'll be it'll be 6 feet different than the original one. So that's what I mean by we will know by the
camera. If your laser is above 0 feet. If his laser is even what is it 1 foot tall? Yeah, if it's 1 foot tall. It drops from 6 feet down to 1.5.
Well,
he's doing this. He's also doing this observation over the road, which, by the way, has terrain issues.
Yeah,
I can pretty much guarantee that that road isn't going to be perfectly level like the water would be. There's going to be hill terrain issues and stuff like that. That's going to fuck up your observation.
Why not use the water? He's basically just doing this next to the water. Why not use the water, which is the thing that's supposed to be level? He's
exactly. Put the poles in the water, douchebag.
He's making
they
it too
have
complex.
Waterfalls. I don't know how deep that slough is, but it's probably not. It's probably deeper than 6 feet.
I understand. I understand bullshitting people on the internet is how this guy makes money, but Jesus Christ, you know, what is this? Daddy's working the poles so mommy doesn't have to. Holy fuck!
See, the thing is, you don't have to have these 4x4 poles and all that stuff. All he needs to do, I agree, use the water. He even said somewhere that the water is stagnant, that it hardly moves or it doesn't move. And all he needs to do is to simplify this. You can get those, you know, those fiberglass bicycle flags.
Yeah.
That I'm talking about. They're like 6 feet tall with the little orange triangle on top of it. Get a few of those and go get a sheet of 2-inch foam insulation from the Home Depot store, cut it up, stick a flag in it, and float the damn thing.
Yeah, this experiment reminds me very much of a poem, and I think it reflects it quite well, which is, I wandered as lonely as a cloud. And I think that's what Durantism is doing with this picture.
You may be right.
I mean, I've come up with some pretty contrived ideas for experiments in my time, but like this is just wrong.
There's so many layers of wrong here. The last time I saw something this wrong, Fernie Boy was trying to prove that cigar smoke would do something other than just kind of hang there in the air. It wouldn't. He couldn't get it spinning around a foam rubber toy. And he used that as proof of that the Earth doesn't move.
Yeah, you know, he's Jern is like the guy where the teacher's like, "Hey, we're all going to do a science project, and you're all going to get assigned a partner," and he gets assigned to you, and you're like, "Fuck."
Yeah. Well, as complicated as it
has been, you know what I would do in that case, Fred?
Yes.
I would say jump out the 2nd-story window that you happen to be next to.
I say, hey, Chisholm, do me a favor, dude. Just over there. If you reach far enough out that window, there's a tool we need out there. What's the tool? I don't remember what it's called. Just go look.
Get it. We'll find it.
And then I was going to say that's not necessarily bad. I mean, in biology, that can be an advantage.
Well, that's just it. I'm trying to test his biology because I'll have a lab set over near. I'll have a lab pair over near there that can just kind of take his feet out from under him when he gets far enough out.
Well, we had a guy like that in our physics class, and we did a test on gravity. So we crucified him. We crucified him in the main hall, and left him. This is before school started, and left him there. So when assembly happened.
I have a request at this point. I want basically to watch. Man, I want to basically watch 15 seconds straight of this guy without anyone interrupting him, and then I'm actually going to leave because I bet you after 15 seconds there's going to be enough stupid to keep us talking for at least a good goddamn hour. Let's see if I'm right.
We'll give it exactly 15. Here we go.
Third, fourth post, are we starting to drill much higher into the post each time? So high that by the fifth post we're at 4.2 feet, and by the last post we'll be at 6 feet. That'd be quite a big change, and that's why many people...
That's it. There's 15.
Yep, and I was right. He is stupid.
There you go.
Because it's not, because let's hypothetically say he was able to do this perfectly, and as I'm a Rocket Man just said, you can't. It's impossible. There's so many things that can go wrong that it's guaranteed at this point to go wrong. But let's imagine that this dude relied on fucking magic and was able to get everything perfect. His math is wrong because that, equation that flat earthers like to peddle around doesn't take into account the observer height. So the numbers aren't going to match anyway. Mm-hmm. So, holy shit, dude.
Agreed. And that combined with the unnecessary complexity, as you said, designed to keep his target audience just enthralled with the scienciness of it all.
Except being that I'm going to leave here because I actually have an actual job to do tomorrow.
Okay.
With an actual paycheck that's known as an honest living. I'm just going to make my conclusion right here. I think that this is overly complicated, and I'm going to give Jism the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say that even he knows that this is overly complicated for no good goddamn reason. It's the only purpose it is overly complicated is to woo the dumb fucks that are his audience that keep giving him money. So basically, if he's able to baffle him with bullshit, there's going to be a bigger payout at the end of it. And maybe he gets some sweet power equipment or some leveler at the end of the day that he can take home with him. Who knows? Well, but the fact is that this is overly complicated. There's no reason for it to be this way. He can literally confirm that the Earth is round with 3 posts in the camera, and he is choosing not to do it. The reason why I can make that assertion is because I gave him that type of experiment. Well, by silver platter, what I actually meant to say was I rammed it up his ass sideways, so he knows exactly what to do. He's either a guy that has very shit memories or he's actively ignoring it. I'm going to go with the fact that he's actively ignoring it because he's done that before many times. And he's going to go with this overcomplicated bullshit that's going to give him no real results to work off of. And I think that's a pretty accurate conclusion to come to this far into the video, at least.
I would say that's probably a good estimate of what's going on. Most definitely.
Perfect.
I don't think it's going to get any better.
Well, I am going to fall asleep to this or cry myself to sleep to this, whichever comes first. So you all take care. And Jared, I kind of hate you now for shining the red symbol.
Had to share the pain, buddy.
Had to share the pain, of course. Anyway, peace out, guys.
Thanks for joining us, Red.
Bye.
All right. Well, I could hit play, or we could just say insulting things about Jeranism for the rest of the show. I guess to be, I guess to
like
be
a healthy mixture of both would be best.
Yeah, you're right. To be honest, we really have to play it.
I'm fascinated by the next realistic Photoshop picture that he's going to use. I mean, this is what's entertaining me right now. It's the pretty colors.
Yes, and the realism of the clouds is shocking. I mean, not like that NASA crap where you could see all the painted swirls. All right, here we go.
You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead and let it play a little bit. I can't remember what comes after this, but I actually think he says he's going to make it public so people can come out and watch him do this experiment.
Nice.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Just makes me really wish I lived in that area.
I will call an expedition, and anybody who wants to come, you're in. If he does make it public,
I would actually love to be there, just to stand at the end of the 3 mile stretch and give him the 132.
All right. See, I'm still
Some people laugh, and the others need an explanation. Get this, okay? Imagine for a moment one hand. Make a fist.
Okay, extend your thumb. That is 1. Bring the thumb in, put up your forefinger. That is 2. 4, 6, 8, 16. Your other, the next thumb is 32. The next forefinger is 64, and the next finger after that is 128. Now, 128 plus 4.
Yep.
Like I said, some people laugh and the others need an explanation.
132.
Yeah, 132.
I think it'd just be fun to go out there with a lawn chair and a cooler of beer and just enjoy the show.
Might be, but I think doing what Red suggested in parallel with his foolishness might be better.
Well, we only need 3 posts out on the slough with a boat. Actually, we wouldn't even we could use 2 boats, 1 on each end.
Indeed.
We'll just tie it off to the center line.
I think the problem is that if he tries to do both at the same time, I think you're going to kind of run into it. If you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one because he's not. I don't think he's going to be able to. I mean,
that's not what we're talking
about. To help him with all this.
That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about we do the correct experiment while he's drilling holes.
Yeah, that would be ideal, and that is something we might. If he does announce the when and all that sort of thing. I think we might want to look into that. See, I'm still waiting for him to acknowledge that his last pole is going to be at 2.5 miles. That's what I'm waiting for. Somehow, I don't think that's coming. But
just while you're doing the experiment, just hold up a sign that says, "Hey, dumbass, this is how it's done."
Yeah,
that works. All right.
Yeah. The other thing is he's going to rent a theodolite, which to me is funny because it's a pretty precise instrument that takes some training. I don't know what the hell he's going to do with it.
You mean you can't just run to Home Depot and rent one?
With a typewriter.
Actually, I've seen some monkeys that can do typewriting better than this guy can design experiments.
But what he should do is he should rent a surveyor with a theodolite.
Yes, that would be better.
Yeah,
actually. Well, see, he wouldn't actually be able to do that because the surveyor would just tell him he's out of his fucking mind. Because it would be completely and utterly true.
This is the thing about this experiment. It's like this is monkey with a typewriter. The experiment. This is like to a whole new level. This is like monkey does heart surgery. It just takes it to a whole new level.
Not only that, but the monkey has to be epileptic and drunk. And using the game Surgeon Simulator as to guide the robot hands.
Exactly.
All right. At this point, I feel ethically bound to mention to you folks that we are at precisely the halfway point
for
this particular.
And that's just this video,
huh?
Don't we have like 2 more to do after this?
Well, we usually adjust that for how much time has passed. I mean, there's not a set number we have to get through. So who knows? We might need some stupid at some point in the future.
Yeah,
there might be a shortage of stupid.
Well, SciStrike, I only have one thing to say about whether we should keep watching this or not.
Yes.
I've already lost the will to live. I can't go any lower.
Okay. Therefore, hit and play. And you know what? To make it go a little faster, maybe we should. We've done it in the past. Let the minor stupid and the asked and answered things slip by.
Oh, when is that? When have we ever done that?
You're right. Okay, here we go.
You may have heard me say already.
What?
It was a few weeks ago, but we have done it.
Yeah, sure thing. Sure.
We did it for about 3 minutes.
For me.
We did it for about 3 minutes.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
All right, here we go.
That this test would be a definitive test for me. If I get to that last post and I am drilling a hole 6 feet higher on that post than I drilled in the first spot, I cannot walk away with that with any other conclusion, but that the Earth curves, and as a result, so does water. Now, I don't think that'll happen. I don't think there's any chance that happens. But if it does...
No.
It should be the other way around. It should be water curves, and therefore the Earth does. Just saying.
I have one word. I have this to say. Gravity, you fucking retard. Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity!
I have a feeling as things are going differently than he expected midway through, he's just going to stop and walk away anyways.
It's happened before.
Maybe he'll be able to get his deposit back on the gear he had to rent.
Maybe. He's still stuck with a bunch of buckets full of concrete, though. That's kind of
not
funny.
my problem. That's his problem.
Mm.
He's the one that's got to take those to the dump in Sacramento and try to explain why he's got, 600 pounds worth of shit.
Not exactly, because he's actually building a fence in his garden at the moment.
Oh, okay. That works. Well, having moved precisely 8 seconds forward, perhaps we should hit play.
I have no other excuse. There's nothing else I can say. It would be true that the Earth curves. Now, does it mean NASA's not lying to me? No. I'll still have that belief. But as far as the ball Earth, well, I'd have to concede that one because we measured it. And clearly there's nothing else that could have taken place that would cause us to be 6 feet higher after 3 miles.
Nothing.
Did you hear what he said
Nothing
there?
that could possibly happen.
If we boil down what he just said, he's going to hang on to his lunacy until each specific element is disproven to his satisfaction, which means it is his intent to hang on to his lunacy if he can. So that has to creep into the experiment. When you have the intent of showing the wrong thing, it's going to happen.
Well, you
just
see
to
here,
be specific here, what is the prediction of how much higher the marker would be at the farthest mark in the experiment that he has laid out on this road?
6 feet.
No, that's what he claims. But would that be the case for the real world experiment?
No,
probably not.
Well, in the case, actually,
what would
remember,
you anticipate?
Not only is his experiment overly complicated, it does do some other stuff, like takes observer height out of the equation, because he's making a line that's parallel to what he's saying is a flat Earth and doing measurements between them. So if he kept every inaccuracy from creeping into his entire procedure, which is just not possible, it's not really that awful an idea.
What he's saying is 6
We're
feet
talking about
above his original starting point, not 6 feet total.
He still wouldn't get that result because the bit in the middle would be higher than either end.
Let me think for a second. Right, because he's leveling the laser first and using that to drill the holes. So yes.
Why the hell did he not do this graphic on a round Earth? It just looks stupid this way.
Because the Earth is flat. He'll tell you that every time. The one thing he's never answered for me is how thick is the Earth?
But anyway, assuming that his laser is 2 feet above the water level, how far above the water level will the little green bar be at the far end?
8 feet.
Yeah.
It would have to be 8 feet. If of course reality operated the way he says it does, and his experiment wasn't completely flawed as a result.
Yep. Frankly, I don't even expect the laser to get there. I don't expect the laser to even get to the last post.
No, the laser won't make it.
And I don't expect it to get to the third post.
So, James, are you asking, in reality, what would the result of the experiment be?
Yeah, in other words, is he actually using a more or less accurate number based upon a curving surface, such as the thing that he's about to measure, and assuming that his thing is 2 feet off of the water to start with?
No.
It's
should be the value for the thing, which he maintains would be a 6 foot value at 3 miles. What would be the actual predicted observable value at 3 miles?
Couple feet at most.
In ideal situations, it should be 8 feet because basically what he's doing with this one, he's not messing up too much because he's not measuring hidden height. So he's not measuring obstruction. He's measuring drop.
Yeah.
So which he has to do because the initial thing he's using is level with his initial location. So it pretty much just goes out in a straight line, which means the Earth is going to slightly curve away from that, whether not looking towards the horizon for something to be obstructed. But the thing is, it would be the post with the mark would be at 6 feet if the observer, or basically if the laser started off at 0, but because the laser starts off at 2 feet, have to add another 2 feet to his 6 feet expectation.
So the number he's doing is valid enough within the circumstances. It's objectively the case that if he does the experiment reasonably, there's going to be a point at the far end where if he can see the damn laser at all, it's going to be way higher from where his flat Earth predicts it to be.
Probably
3-watt laser.
Yes.
The effective range of a 3-watt laser is going to be no more than 1 mile.
Oh, okay. Then even the 2.7 feet that he's got about halfway through should be, or 1.5 feet. That's a substantial amount. That's almost twice the height of what he would be expecting. So he should theoretically be able to observe something that is not matching his expectations, even over that short distance.
Well, that's if he manages to get a laser perfectly level. He's going out there with equipment that's just not designed to do that.
I mean,
we're not assuming that he's not an idiot, but nevertheless, at least theoretically, he should be able to observe something of interest if he were not an idiot.
RJ, you should have led with that.
Yeah. Well, no, this gives me an idea actually, because if he's just, if this turned out to be true, he believes that the Earth is a ball, but he still wouldn't believe NASA. Fair enough. Why doesn't he do this experiment on the moon? That's what I'd like to see.
Two birds, one stone.
Yeah,
I like it.
We're in there.
Okay.
Go fund me. Let's get it happening, people.
Okay, and here's what we get when we put Jeranism on for the subject of the show. The entire public chat is talking about Back to the Future.
Yep.
Or which one? I've been looking. Which one are we talking about?
In general.
We want to be entertained.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's let Jaren ramble on. Let's see how much more foolishness he comes up with. I suspect there might be quite a bit.
I like that with this experiment, Jeranism is literally trying to thread the needle.
Here we go.
It's not going to work.
And that's part of the premise.
As someone who's worked in construction, I'm pretty sure what he wants to do is damn near impossible on that scale. Like you would need posts miles apart to even have a chance of. You can't do it by feet. It would be impossible.
But he's got the poles and he's got the water. Why all the? It's got to be blatant dishonesty. There's no need for this much complexity. The only reason
because then you're assuming the water stays even when. I mean, I guess
he did
kind of
claim.
Kind of doesn't.
He did claim it was stagnant.
Science at Rube Goldberg University. You got to understand this.
All right. Let us hit play and see what new surprises he has for us.
Because we know that the water's level.
Spoiler, they're going to be dumb surprises.
What that would prove is that the water is level, it's an equal distance away from the center of the Earth, and that really it's level, but it's curving. So that's what this test will ultimately show. In my opinion, we will be drilling the hole pretty much the exact same spot as we drilled the first one. Let's stay here real quick because I think that this is an important moment. There's an important point here that we don't want to miss. And you may ask how I'm so confident in what these results will be. And let me tell you, and any flat earther, anybody who has become a flat earther has...
See, I was going to say because he's making shit up.
Already gone through this. They've already recognized.
Can you just go back a second? I actually want to hear what he has to say about this.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, maybe it was unfair of me to just assume it was stupid and ignore it. Here we go. You're right. Here, we'll back it up to you. Nah, it's a little too far. I think this is where he starts.
This is an important moment.
There you go.
There's an important point here that we don't want to miss. And you may ask how I'm so confident in what these results will be. And let me tell you, and any flat earther, anybody who has become a flat earther has already gone through this. They've already recognized this and accepted this because it is all part of a thought problem or a thought experiment. Other people, those who believe in the globe, simply defer to what men say. And I do know what men say, but let me show you why they're going to be wrong. So to the globe believers out there, this is
men say, yeah.
Yeah, men say.
As opposed to what frogs say?
I think that's what he means.
Well, or chipmunks, or wildebeests, or I prefer to defer to nematodes myself because they're really tiny and they speak very sharply.
Jeranism, I hate to break it to you, but science, both the kind you like and the kind you don't like, is all what men say. I mean, women too. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But I like how he said that flat earthers they've all thought about this in their heads and they just know that it's true. But the globe earthers they're just parroting science.
It seems to be a common theme among the flat earthers that don't listen to anybody. It's assuming that one person would be able to have all the knowledge necessary to understand the observable universe, and that if you take any information from someone who may know more than you,
ladies and gentlemen, is it me or does Jeranism have probably a millionth of the brain capacity of a concussed tardigrade?
You're being very generous there.
Yes,
yeah, I mean, an absolutely fucking pissed one.
It just, I don't even know where to start.
It's not a credit to his phylum.
See, I find that rather insulting to the tardigrade.
It is. My apologies to pissed off concussed tardigrades everywhere, but
Tardigrades can withstand enormous temperature differentials. I bet Jaren couldn't do that.
Ooh,
that could be tested. That could be tested.
Well,
right.
I still.
I would think we should try to test that.
Yep. Let's launch him into the sun and see how long he lasts.
That works. Okay, here we go.
Science can be done here.
While you still have time, this should tell you why the Earth is flat. This should explain it quite simply. Just this thought experiment. But let's go ahead and try it out.
Oh, fucking hell.
If
Hold on. Stop. Drink.
Okay, Hill, you call drink.
A thought experiment cannot prove something. Saying, well, if you think about this thing, it seems a bit weird, doesn't it? And you don't understand it. Not understanding something is not proof that is wrong.
Yeah,
and not understanding something isn't proof that it's right either.
I'd also like to add that, you know, the word thought experiment in Iranism is in fact.
Oh, jeez, Emma. Oh, wow.
Okay, that's, you know, I suspect we're going to be seeing Emma frequently on our new domain that we purchased.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
And we swing it around as I did here so that we're looking at the entire 3 miles left to right. And the great thing is people will be able to do this the day of the event. You can actually just go for a walk over there, turn around and see the laser that we're shooting go through all 6 beams. Because if it were to turn out that when shooting this laser across from the left to the right, that we were 6 feet higher on the post when we got to the far right, the 3 mile mark, then that would mean that that white line I just drew is the shape of the Earth, that it's going downhill, which means the water will be running out of the river that way.
Okay.
All right, well, we may not be understanding exactly what he's saying. Make your objection.
First off, you wouldn't see the fucking beam.
All right, let's assume you could.
Use a beam to be able to see it.
Let's assume you could, and carry on from there.
So we're X-Men now.
Yes.
Okay. Just one quick thing. The thing about laser light is that it travels in a pretty much straight direction with, you know, some deviation, of course. But looking at a laser from the side, you can't see it. That's the whole point. It goes in a pretty much straight line. You can't see a laser from the side.
See, that's what. But that's why he's doing this overly complicated.
It's a fucking lightsaber.
Yeah, that's why he's doing this overly complicated crap. He's going to use the lasers to mark the post. He's going to drill holes where the laser intersects the post and paint them. And what he's saying, if he can guarantee that the laser is level at the point on the Earth where it is, his results actually would give what he's drawing here. The ground would drop away from the theoretically straight line of holes. The ground would drop away from that.
We do actually have one small issue.
Yes?
His poles aren't long enough.
Okay.
Well, just have him use the one that uses to go to the sun.
I don't feel like we should go around just judging the size of Jerry.
It was 4 by 2 by 8. So, assuming that his poles are actually flat on the ground, he'd actually have to drill his last hole right across the top of the last beam.
That is true, but
assuming
again,
no refraction.
Yeah, that would demonstrate the failure of his whole flat Earth hypothesis, though. All right.
Yeah, you got to think the sand would affect, like you'd have to use like very fine-grained sand where all the posts are, because otherwise the slightest bump could throw it off. Not to mention when you put a pole into the cement, you're going to have to somehow get a solid, tall object to stand up perfectly straight inside cement, which is a lot harder than you think it is. Even with construction commitment, it's only relatively straight. If it's off even by like, at this distance, I would say probably like centimeters, and you'd be screwed. The whole experiment would be screwed.
If a gust of wind can kill your experiment, then it's probably not a good experiment.
Yeah, exactly. The wind gust could just, a windy day, you couldn't do it.
That's like I said earlier. It's fine on paper, but it's not executable. There's too much stuff to go wrong.
Yeah, especially since your margin of error is 1/10 of an arc second on the tops of those balls.
Yeah, and the error at the very beginning with where the laser is amplified with each half-mile post. So yes, I agree.
Several times over. If he's even remotely, if he's got it perfectly flat, which is unlikely at best, at the beginning, then any sort of variation in the angle of the posts, any kind of variation, is going to produce a poor result. Any scientist looking at this to go, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah, at a small scale, you can't get the curvature at all because you wouldn't be far enough to get a curvature. Assuming, because then you have to think too, what if you're in an area where it looks flat to you, but the whole entire plateau is maybe going at an angle the other way. Like, there's no way to, like, I don't see how you could possibly do this. You'd have to do it like hundreds and hundreds of miles. And then even then you'd have to be so precise down to the centimeters and millimeters. I just don't see how you could do it.
Well, he did mention measuring down to the water level as well, which is another place to inject error. So there's that. And
anybody that's ever gone and bought lumber knows ain't none of it straight.
That too. The lumber would have to be like so. Right. It would have to be cut with such a precise tool.
What they would have to do is machine it.
You don't have it. You would have to make the stuff. You would have to make the tools to do this in the first place.
You know, I
don't think we have the stuff to do it this precise.
I'm not convinced that the straightness of the lumber would actually matter that much, because it's the height of the lumber doesn't matter. It's the holes that he's going to be measuring down to the water.
Which you're going to be doing by hand.
You realize what we're doing, right? We're talking about this dumbass experiment.
He's got to line up 6 or 7 8-foot slabs of lumber that all have to be perfectly straight in a row for 3 miles.
2.5, because he's got 6.
That's assuming 3 miles is even long, or that's assuming 3 miles is even long enough to get the curvature of the Earth.
Well, he'd notice some difference.
We know that's the thing we know, because that was what Alfred Wallace did.
If I had to bet, and I'd be willing to bet, like, I don't know, like a chocolate chip cookie or something, the laser won't even get past the 3rd beam.
Yeah, exactly.
If it does, it'll be so faint, and it's unusable at that point.
I think it would take them all day just to get 2 of them lined up. Perfectly, without any mistakes. I think it would take them all day.
There's not only the
eye on top of it.
There's not only the diffusion of the beam, but let's say you do get, the first one through the hole, and by the time you get to the second one, it's diffused some, but you kind of drill a hole in the post so what is there can go through.
It's a 3-watt laser. Its effective range is not more than 1 mile.
Okay.
1.6 kilometers.
The light coming out of the hole, because the hole is a sharp-edged object, it's going to diffract as well. So
that would be true for the first pole, but he's only going to vaguely see the dot in the second pole. He's not going to get to the 3rd pole at all.
You've got refraction and dispersion and refraction that are going to play into this.
Yeah. Also, there's another issue is that if he gets at one point he goes to drill a hole, and assuming it does get through, it's even like the first one, when he goes to drill like the second hole or even the third, the light is going to get more and more diffuse. So then he's going to get to pick where he wants the hole to be, like where he, because the light is going to be so diffuse that it'll just kind of be a little bit of everywhere.
He would actually need to put a lens in each one to refocus the light.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's exactly what would have to happen.
I have to issue a retraction. Fino pointed it out. Thank you. He doesn't need He doesn't need an additional pole. 6 is fine because there's going to be no pole at the starting point. I'm issuing a retraction. I was mistaken.
So why did he make 7 poles?
Well, he made 6.
Why is he making 7?
He claimed 6,
he can't
and
count.
Yes, I was in error. I was thinking with fences, you need to account for the last one because you have a first one. He's not going to have a first one. That's where the tripod with the laser is going to be. So, thank you, Fino. You rock, as you well know.
He's still making 7.
I thought he was making 6.
Nope. We remember way back in the beginning of the video, he was putting out his shopping list.
Mm-hmm.
There were 7 buckets, 7 chunks of lumber, and enough sand for 7 of those buckets.
If that's the case, then he would make the 3. Either way, I have to issue a retraction on my part because if he has 7, it covers the 3 miles.
He does have 7, but he's not using 7.
Huh. Okay. You guys realize what we're doing here, right? We're talking about Jaren's overly complicated, prone to failure experiment in a serious tone of voice. Did you guys notice that? Does anyone see anything wrong with that?
I gotta admit, even though the experiment is fundamentally flawed, it's an actual experiment that technically could, if you could do it properly, would show whether the Earth is flat or not. But realistically, there's so many factors. I don't think it's actually possible because the other part too is like the reference point. Where do you find the reference point of the curvature of the Earth, or you know what I mean? Like, because if you're on a plateau,
he's putting all this shit on the road next to a slough that's supposed to be stagnant.
Now,
why not just put them in the water and be done?
Exactly, and 3 of them, as Red brought up.
Well, the thing is, though, that's going to be even harder. I mean, he has to thread the laser through beams, and then it'd be even worse if he had to thread them through beams while they were floating.
He doesn't need to do that. He doesn't even need to thread the laser. They can throw the laser in the fucking slough. He doesn't need it. Just a camera or a telescope.
Yes,
one or the other.
That would work.
Or even if they went for both, he's never going to get them all to line up. We already know that.
The other thing too, isn't he assuming the 3 miles? He said earlier, good scientists really prove what they do, and bad ones just assume. Isn't he assuming the 3 miles based on an old experiment someone else did?
Yes, he is.
So
Samuel Robotham and Alfred Wallace. They both.
So wouldn't he have to redo that experiment to prove if there's a curvature in the first place, and see what the
it's been done. That experiment's been done repeatedly.
Yeah, but he said good scientists don't assume what other scientists did; they do the experiments themselves, or something.
He has not. Not only has he not done that, he has no intention of doing that.
Yeah,
he put together a version of the test that is so freaking complex that even the most careful scientist would find error. Would find huge amounts of error. What he's trying to do is he's trying to make people think he's eliminating his confirmation bias when he's actually built it into the experiment.
Yeah.
He already knows what answers he's going to get because he put the experiment together to get there. Science is not start with a conclusion and work backwards to find the evidence. It's the other way around. You start with the evidence based on a hypothesis. Earth flat. You build an experiment you build the simplest experiment you can to try and disprove Earth flat and come up with a response of Earth not flat.
How much is he asking for people to help him with this?
We don't know yet. That's probably the end.
It may be coming. We'll see. All right.
We got asking for anything
yet.
That he's going to need help with a high-powered laser. I mean, one that can reach 3 miles.
He's already got the He has a 3-watt. He's got 2 lasers. One 3-watt, one 2-watt. The 2-watt was provided by an individual, which means somebody paid for a 2-watt laser and gave it to him.
That's pretty weird.
Which how much do those run for?
A couple, $300-400 for a good one.
That's not too bad.
Okay, you know.
Hey, Cy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You mentioned the end. Could we? That sounds like a nice goal we could like start to work towards again.
Okay.
Well, just to answer this question quickly,
yes.
You guys are wondering how he's going to do it. Well, I'd simply quote Scripture, Luke 3:14. Use the Force.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to go through for
Bedford is the Bedford. The Bedford experiments were done in England, not New England. There's a town in Massachusetts known as Bedford, but that's not where that happened. He's doing this in
I thought
California.
you were going to quote the it's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle thing.
That would be appropriate, wouldn't it?
I thought you were going with that.
Absolutely. Let's move on.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Here we go.
And it does
Please,
not.
hold
Because
your
water
head up.
finds its level.
Moving on.
So you can't have one end of the river lower or higher than the other, or else the water will flow in that direction.
What an idiot.
Yet nothing
Let
else
it go.
will happen
Let it go.
because the Earth is
go.
a flat and level plane. But
All the water
we will be
boros.
testing to find that out, won't we?
Moron.
So now that we've completed that test, and no matter the outcome, whether it went towards the ball side or towards the flat side, we're going to still do one more experiment because it's a perfect time to do so with the theodolite on the other side of the river. The theodolite can actually measure the distance between the water level and wherever we decide to set up the laser pointer.
What the
And
fuck?
that we
Okay,
have
one-
2 of
one
them
drink.
helps us.
All right, Hill, you call drink. You're up.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Okay, Darrenism, the best way to measure something in this kind of way, if you can, is directly measuring angles and then translating that to distance leaves more room for error. Just get a yardstick or a tape measure and just measure it directly. It simplifies it and there's much less room for error.
But it's so much less sciencey.
Typically in the scientific realm, you design your experiment to minimize the potential for error. If you can get it down to the standard deviation, fucking amazing. He's going the other way. He's trying to get it as unreliable as possible. That way, no matter the results, he can play it as a win.
Absolutely. Claim victory under
The more direct control over stuff you have in an experiment, the better.
I agree. But that's not what he's going for.
No, certainly
And that's
not.
why he's an idiot.
Oh, look, the mouse is overplay.
A lot. Now what we'll do is we'll remove some of the buckets so that it leaves only distances of 1 mile and 2 mile separation, and then we're going to set up both lasers at exactly equal heights, level them both off perfectly, and then shoot the lasers at each other. Of course, we should see a crisscross pattern. There should be no possible way that the lasers hit where they originated on the other side. That would be impossible on a ball Earth. They should crisscross. Another way to test this is we will lower one of the lasers 6 inches below the other, and then we will shoot them both straight across. If the beams maintain those 6 inches of separation, again, that means the Earth is flat. Because what should happen is each laser should cross each other and end up higher than the other. So even at just 1 mile, which is 8 inches of curvature, then technically when we shoot both beams across at each other, they should end up 2 inches higher than the originating beam on the other side. That's because...
Okay.
At the beginning of this, he said leveling the lasers to each other so they are shooting at each other. Just by doing that alone...
I'm probably only saying this because I'm far too tired. Give him a little bit of... I think what he obviously meant to say was that he's leveling it with the ground. Obviously, he's doing it. 2 things are equal to each other. 2 things are equal to the same thing. They're equal to each other. He's saying, okay, he's thinking from a flat Earth bias already. Saying, okay, so the lasers are level to the ground, and so they're both level to the flat level ground, so they're equal to each other. But he means they're level compared to the ground.
At the point where
assume nothing.
I think that's what he's thinking, that's going to be proof, because it's
confirmation
the ground is flat.
I'll be right back.
Again, though, how does he like make sure that there's no? Because when you're right next to an area where you're already at, the ground's going to be pretty flat unless it's uneven, right? So he's going to pick a nice flat area, you know, a couple feet apart. So of course it's going to look flat. Like,
yep, but
what does he expect? Is it going to look crooked or something?
He's got those digital levels that he assumes are not, because they're digital and sciencey, there's not going to be any error, which is the results from this. We can't say that they're going to prove anything because they're going to be unpredictable. The measuring, leveling each laser, I mean, how level is it actually going to be? Anyway, all right.
Yeah. Those digital levels are made for woodworking and stuff like that, like setting your saw blade straight and things like that. The precision on them is not that great. If you're within like a half a degree, you're good. But when you're a half a degree on something of this scale, throws everything way out. I have one of those digital levels that he's got. And the other thing is the thing is not level out of the box. You actually have to put it on something that you know is flat and level and zero it. And I guarantee you he won't do that either.
I'd say there's a good chance of that. All right. God, the stupid density of this video is just beyond most of what we've watched on these movies.
Hold your head up.
Moving on.
Wait, this video has been so dense of stupidity, I'm surprised it has not collapsed in on itself.
Yes, we would expect a stupid singularity to form any time now. Well, I mean, come on, there were things that were not stupid. He correctly used the word "the" a few paragraphs back. So here we go.
That's 8 inches, and they were already lowered 6 inches. So that should be pretty definitive. We're also going to do it at 2 miles, because at 2 miles, you would see 32 inches of change, definitely a crisscross, and they should both be ending up, you know...
Which will make you jump.
Almost 3 feet higher than the originating beam. Now for some little housekeeping items. Number 1, the best time to do this test will be, in my opinion, done...
Okay.
Well, I've got to say, I'm feeling a little bit jealous, because what he's describing is essentially quite a fun day out, I think.
Okay. So it's a day at the beach for the young fella. That's what you're saying.
Go and watch some stupid on the beach. Why not?
Yep, indeed.
I think it takes him most of the day to get 2, maybe 3 done, and then he gives up on the 4th or 5th one.
Could be. And then
this is too hard. I think he just does it with 4 or 5.
What do you think the odds are that somewhere in the middle of this whole process, any reference to this experiment just disappears and everyone in his community forgets it ever happened? It wouldn't be like the first time that's happened.
I wouldn't be surprised. I've heard of Aeneas Archesia doing that several times. So,
alrighty, here we go.
Between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m., the tides that come in will only be about 1 foot of difference if we measure between the hours of 3 and 10 p.m. If you look at the tide sheet, you'll see that they range from about a half foot to 3 feet, which is 2.5 feet, but we can actually catch the tide on the parabola. So what we'll want to do is, as it's rising, we would start measuring when it's 2 feet high, and then over the course of the next several hours, it's going to go up as high as 3 feet, but then start coming back down again to 2 feet. This way, we're only in between that 1 foot period of time. And then
okay. You're up. That was, what was that, RJ?
Why are there tides? Little RJ asked with a sweet smile on his face disingenuously. Tell us, Sharon.
Good luck getting an answer on that one. Dubé's got an answer for that one.
Quick question. So he said between 3 and 10 p.m., right? So he plans on doing at least half of this in the dark if he's going to start that late.
But he has freaking lasers.
And he's got that artificial sun. He's got the artificial sun. We just call them flashlights, but he's got an artificial sun. All right. Here we go.
And also, any measurements we do, as long as they're close together, of course, the tide will be the same. So if we measured at 3 p.m. and then at 10 p.m., which there'd be no reason to do that, there would only be a foot of change. So the tides really won't have much impact. There is no swell as it is a river. And lastly, one of the interesting things is it's listed as having exactly the 1013.25 HPA, which is exactly the standard atmospheric pressure. Other great things about this experiment is by doing it on the side of the road like that, we're not going to be subjected to the kind of atmospheric distortion that we might be seeing across the ocean, or like was seen in the Bedford Level experiment, where they blamed a lot on refraction as well. There shouldn't be any refraction up to the side of that hill, and it's generally going to be the same temperature, obviously, at both ends of the 3-mile stretch. So we should eliminate any issues that might have to do with that. Another great thing about the experiment is by doing it towards the evening, doing our measurement then, we'll have a much better view of the blue lasers since it'll be getting near nighttime. And on top of that, we will also get rid of any lingering heat effects that might cause.
Okay.
Click.
Click. Okay, all right.
Like how he mentions the atmosphere, I like how he mentions the barometric pressure, like it matters, and like it doesn't fluctuate from day to day.
Or along the path. There are minor fluctuations along the path as well. And the whole thing about at night being able to see the blue laser from across, you're not going to see it from the fucking side, dude.
Not without an infrared or a not without a camera.
Actually,
or somebody doing some heavy smoking in the area.
I'd be able to see.
Let's keep that in mind.
Well, it would have to be a lot of smoke.
A lot of smoke. Listen to him talk, man. What? I think there's been a lot of smoke already. All right.
I'm glad I realized that yes, he is doing it in the middle of the night, most of the measurements. So he better have some good flashlights.
Oh, that just makes it easier for him to fake.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right.
Cause atmospheric distortion there above the street. So all things considered, I think it is a fantastic experiment. I think it.
Wait, no distortion above the street, which is black and would have had the sun beating on it all day.
All day.
And it's getting to be nighttime because it was daytime, but now it's nighttime. Sexy, sexy, sexy. So there would be a substantial temperature differential. Okay, I have a working hypothesis that Jaren's full of shit. Okay, here we go.
It's going to really tell us something, and we'll all walk away from that day having learned something. So, like I said, the plan is to do it towards the evening. And we want a lot of people there if they want to come join us, or else if not.
Just stop.
Click. He will learn how hard real science actually is.
Look at the bright side. At least he's going out and doing something. There's a possibility he'll accidentally trip over something factually accurate and have to admit it.
Come on.
Click.
You're right. All right.
To remove chance of an error for the water thing he plans on doing, like leveling it with the water or whatever, whatever he's doing. Wouldn't he have to do it every hour on the hour and then get the average to make it accurate?
Yep.
He's got to spend all day doing that first before he can even do the experiment.
But he won't.
Again, we're talking like this whole issue is not just going to disappear as soon as he realizes the magnitude of the task he's trying to perform.
You also have to realize he has a single use destructible experiment. Because the nature of the experiment requires that he actually damage bits of his apparatus.
Yeah.
He can only do this once.
That's true.
Honestly, this would take a bunch of physicists and engineers to even accomplish this with weeks of planning.
And he doesn't have any of those things.
A decent amount of money.
He'd also need about a 300-watt laser just to get the 3 miles.
Yeah. Or, as Red pointed out, a high school kid and 3 poles.
Yeah.
Not only that, but just doing it in one area wouldn't necessarily prove anything. You'd have to do it on multiple spots in the globe, I would think.
No, you could do it in one place.
He could actually just ask the guy he's phoned up to hire the theodolite from.
Wait,
That guy would tell me that in his fucking mind.
I have a question. I thought it was only college students that worked on polls.
Now they're they're just the ones that make the most money.
You know.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We are on mug 2.5. That's why it took me a little to understand that joke.
You have to realize I finished my booze a while ago.
Understand. You know, I'm gonna start including pictures of the actual mug of truth in the opening, just so you can see how dangerous an occupation this is. All right, here we go.
Miss and I will do it. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is the lasers. So as for the lasers, we have two really nice lasers, one 3 watt, one 2 watt. And now these lasers have what's called a beam divergence factor. But unfortunately, they're listed as a beam divergence of, and then it says less than 5.0 mrad. Now, if you go to a calculator and figure out what that is, and you put it in with this laser and the distance we're trying to shoot it, it comes out that the beam divergence would be 25,001 millimeters after 3 miles. Well, 25,001 millimeters is 984 inches, or 82 feet. Now, here's the issue with that. What they're saying is that's the maximum that you can make it, but they don't tell you the minimum. So that becomes a bit of a problem. Now, the reason it's not too much of a problem is because they do make beam focusers or beam condensers. They are very expensive, however. Usually, there's some that I've found that are $60 or $70.
We've seen this before.
But they go up as high as $500 or even more. So what Missa and I are going to do, and this is totally on us.
You got to do that right.
Worry about this. We're going to be running a test here in the next couple nights. We think we have a location. It's hard to find. What you need to have is a location 3 miles away from another location where you can shoot the beam and have somebody measure exactly what that diameter of the beam is when it gets 3 miles across. We can't do it over the ocean like we did last.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see his problem here. To find 2 points which are 3 miles apart. I mean, both of them are 3 miles apart, not just one of them. You've got to find 2 of them that are fucking 3 miles apart. Difficult.
That's difficult at best. All right.
Last time, because there could be atmospheric effects or the lensing causing the beam divergence to be even greater. So there's a lot of things we have to look at, but we're going to basically do it over dry land and try to gauge exactly how big that beam will be when it reaches the 3 mile mark. Now, some of you may remember the infamous night, gosh, it's almost 2.5 years ago now, that Bob called the police on me. That was the night that we were doing the 4 mile test, and if you remember correctly, we shot the laser pointer across 4 miles, and when it got to the other side, it had a 10-foot beam diameter. Again, that was a 1 watt laser, and now we have both a 2 and a 3 watt. So the hope is that we shouldn't have the same issue, but again, until I measure it, I won't know. And then if we measure it and it is quite large, then we'll have to get a beam focuser. And here's one on the screen here that I found. It lists at $60, which is one of the cheaper ones because it's only a 3 times magnification. Usually you see up to 10 times magnification. Also, I've seen, as you can look at this.
All right. Was I not paying attention? How the hell does magnification help in what he's talking about?
That's for focusing a beam so that you could actually get it further out without as much diffusion. We're still looking at 80 some odd feet, and he can, with 3 times magnification, he can get that down to what, about 35 feet or so?
Oh, that's all with the 8-foot poles. Okay, just checking.
This video here, somebody used a magnifying glass before. Now it sounds easy enough, but then I start questioning, well, if your angle of the magnifying glass is wrong, isn't that going to set off the whole thing? So I'd rather not do that if at all possible. All right, now I'll just close out with one little example as we finish watching the last of these balloons pop. 101, congratulations. All right, so if you're looking here and you kind of pay attention to the last stick, let's just pretend that that's at the 3 mile mark. You can see the issue that we would have if we had a large diameter of the beam at the end. Now, it looks like it might be an issue, but then again, we can also think of it as, obviously, we're going to see a circle, and we could simply just grab a measuring tape and measure to where the middle of that circle is. So I think, high hopes would be less than a foot of beam divergence. I'm not sure we can get that low. But that'll be my job over the coming couple weeks to figure out exactly what we need to do to get that beam as small as possible. And there's lots of other little contingency plans that could work if we can't get it low, but there's enough products out there, and if I've got to go buy one, I definitely will. I don't think we need any crowdfunding. I didn't do any kind of GoFundMe or anything for this experiment.
Okay, that in itself is pretty freaking weird.
Yeah. Do you guys in the US have Home Depot 24 hours?
No. But here's the thing: is he hasn't started the GoFundMe or any of that stuff yet because he wanted a condensed version to get the stupid out there, and then its sheer density. It's not only going to pull the stupid in, it's going to pull in their money. It's going to be self-attracting for him.
Well, if he has this video to put up for the GoFundMe, anybody with a brain is going to donate $1 just so they can say, Jaron, this is never going to work. You're a moron. Stop it. And then they're going to reverse the funding.
We can hope it works out that way. That would be
But I love the scales of his bucket compared to the telephone lines, huh?
How's he lifting these things?
Yeah.
All right.
Always, if you'd like to donate.
Oh. Yes.
Back of the envelope calculations, he needs not. He's talking about he can get them up to 10 times. For the 3-watt laser to get that far, he's going to need at least 25 times just to get the beam down to something in the neighborhood of 5 feet.
You can donate to paypal.me/Jaron, and you can on there place under the notes that it's for the experiment. That would be awesome if there was enough.
And there it is. The hand comes out.
Yep. We knew that was coming.
What a shock.
Money there, then I could get one of the best beam condensers. So we'll just have to wait and see how that all goes. But again, I want to get everyone's feedback on how they feel about the experiment as a whole.
I think we've done that, don't you?
I think we've done very well at doing that. His experiment is overly complicated, requires a considerable amount of applied phlogiston just to make it viable, and even then we have to pray that he's a good hand with a drill, a power drill, no less.
Indeed, a dangerous instrument at best in his hands. All right. So I'm sure. Do you guys need any more time to write down these web addresses?
No, thanks.
Okay, just checking. I didn't want to.
I certainly have some concerns though.
Yes.
But if I understand correctly, he planned to try to align 7 2x4s on bucket full of sands with making holes in it to pass a laser through. And did that in the same night?
Yes.
Well, the thing that we don't understand, the thing that he's actually missing here, is that he has to. Not only does he have to completely level the damn things off, he's got to make sure they're all exactly the same height from the bottom of the bucket. There's so many problems with just his poles that his experiment's is dead before it even starts.
Yeah.
Before he even gets out there, he's got to, no.
As we mentioned before, if he makes it complicated enough, he can claim whatever results he wants at the end, and no one is going to be able to see where his results,
Except that we can point everybody to this video, and they'll know exactly where the problems with this experiment are.
Yes, you may be right. All right. Where's that GoFundMe address? I'm sure that's coming.
So let's give you the website to go to for that. And so I would absolutely love to hear your comments, ideas, suggestions.
We've done that.
Did I miss something? Are you a laser guru and have a do-it-yourself beam condenser idea? Or are you a surveyor in the Sacramento area or Bay Area willing to man the theodolite? Whatever it might be,
you
can go to
crazy.
bit.ly/curveform. And it's just a short form to fill out saying your suggestion or your idea, whatever. And then you can also go to bit.ly/curveform @curvefb, and that's to see all the comments, and you can even comment on them yourself or comment on any of the suggestions. So I will be looking at those ideas and seeing who wants to help and what their ideas are. And then the plan is, as soon as I have the laser diameter known, then we will schedule the day, and I'll let everybody know the changes, and I'll give the exact date and time. And don't worry, I'll make sure that I give at least a week's notice. I want to do that because I would love to see you guys come by if you can. If you're in the greater Bay Area and you want to come by and say hello while we...
I can be anywhere I need to be in a week. That's just fine. If anyone else is interested, please let me know. I'd be happy to organize an expedition.
You come get me, I'm telling you.
All right, we must converse on this topic.
We will converse after the show.
That sounds like an excellent idea. I really love the idea of doing a parallel experiment with just 3 poles in the water.
And a 6-pack of beer.
And then a polite invitation. Please come here and tell us where we made a mistake. And then, when you're done doing that, we'll do the same for you. So.
Oh yeah.
But no,
right.
you just do your experiment next to them. After an hour that you finish, you sit on your chair, open your beer, and watch the dumb fuckers.
Watch the show.
Trying to align to 2x4s.
That's beautiful. Oh, and here's the difference for the expedition I'm planning. Unlike Jaren, I would suggest you all go to GoFundMe.com. Don't fund me. We are not going to use this to try and screw the decent people out of their money. So there's a subtle difference.
You know what, guys? If you want to provide check, also they'll go to gas and beer.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I'll buy the beer. Don't worry about that. I'll buy the beer.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm
you
good.
buy the beer? Okay.
I'm good with buying the beer.
I'm picky.
It's going to be Sam Adams, though. I'm kind of partial to Sam Adams.
Well, then you better be bringing it from wherever it is you are, because the Sam Adams brewery's over on this end. They it's like making love in a canoe. I swear.
I understand. All right. Very good.
So if you want to donate, just go to hashtag help me Obi-Wan. You're my only hope.
Exactly. No, we will not pull a Jaren and try and screw people out of their cash just so we can produce some honesty. All right, here we go.
We are testing the globe as...
Oh, by the way, should we check if... hello, have you fallen asleep yet with this amount of stupid?
Who?
And there we have it.
Steven would say, then that'd be great to see you. So I don't think I forgot anything. If I did, well, you'll hear from me again. So be kind and don't lie and open your mind, because there's truth inside. Thanks for watching, guys. You guys are the best. And if you enjoy the work, I couldn't do it without you, and I couldn't do it without all the patrons. If you'd like to join us, either at Patreon or over at our Discord chat, head to patreon.com/Jarenism. And if you just want to watch my videos for free, well, then you can do so. I've always promised that all my videos will forever be free. And this has been Jarenism. Until next time. Peace!
We can kill that now.
Let's ratchet this up.
No.
There we go.
Well, to all you naysayers, I would just say I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Nay.
We'll wait and see how accurate the test is if he actually even does it.
He doesn't even get one.
Alright, let's see if anything interesting pops up here.
The entire video was a big info commercial for his next dumb fuckery.
There we go. Coinbase.com.
That was it.
I mean, it looks like compared to the other stuff he's done, it looks like an actual experiment. I'll give him that.
I am happy he's getting the hell out and doing something. And
yeah, but I don't see it happening accurately.
Yeah, no, but well, you know the problem.
I wonder what he would do if I called him jism to his face.
Well, no, we should be polite. We should be polite. It's good enough that He'll be doing his experiment, and a couple of wise asses and 3 poles is demonstrating the folly of his ideas.
But you know what I found? You know what I found the most incredible is, impossible, is that actually Jason did the graphics for his video, or he will be able to do his experiment. Because last time I've seen Jason do some graphics with the Eclipse, it was pretty awful. You know?
I don't think he did the graphics.
Yeah,
I doubt he did.
All right. Well, look at that. We made it through, what was that, a 26-minute video in 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Whew.
That's you know,
average.
Yeah. I was trying to find a jazzier word for it, but I got nothing.
I'm surprised I have a brain left.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough alcohol to cushion the blow.
This was more punishment than we usually take in a couple of videos. It was very, like we said, it was very dense. The stupid density was pretty freaking high. All right, let us see what else we got.
Guys, I'm going to sign off and go to bed. I think. You guys, are y'all going to watch another one?
That's to be determined. I'm going to ask the group, and we'll see what the group says. But I will say thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, no problem. It was fun.
Yeah, good night there, Rocket Man.
Take it easy, guys.
Good night, Rocket Man. Thanks for stopping in.
Let
us see what we have.
RJ's still hiding in the corner. I don't know why. Maybe he's just like he's busy whimpering.
I hope he wasn't damaged by all, because RJ's pretty freaking smart. I hope this much stupid did not actually damage him, because that would be a crime.
RJ is scraping along at the edge of the barrel and not in a great mood, and also working on the tip stuff along the way.
Understandable.
So what did you make of all the stupid there, RJ?
It's the perpetual stupid. I mean, there is no information content in Jaren or any flat earther by definition. Well, and so it's just a fascinating method of seeing how they manage to not.
What the method of? Forget it. I'm out of words. I give up. All right.
Yeah, or you can just flash Tortugan alert, and it's the short form.
That works. That works. Plus, that's a kick-ass word. I've used that a couple of times in public. All right.
Oh wow! Yeah. Well, that's we spread it around. Spread it around.
Indeed. And all right. Now we've got the rest of Jeranism Live number 16, which is it's a 2 hour and 46-minute long thing, and we stopped.
And we were at 38:05.
Yeah. And so we have that queued up, but keep in mind there's already a Jeranism Live number 17. Okay, what else we have, since this is the show specifically dedicated to our friend Jeranism, we have They Live We See - Choose One, The Lie or Reality. This is supposed to be a meaningful title. And that one is, let us see, that one is 16 minutes long.
That would probably be better.
Okay, so here's your choice, everyone.
What do we know what the subject of this is other than the cryptic title?
Oh no, that would spoil it.
It's like open up the box.
It's like,
see what kind of stupid
or is there something else?
No, it's like Russian roulette with 6 bullets. That's what it is.
Okay. Well, we live dangerously.
All right. So then you guys get either one of those two, or we call it. You guys decide. The first one is 2 freaking hours left. The second one is 16 minutes.
16 minutes in total. If we proceed at the rate we've been going thus far, we might actually be able to get the end of the 16-minute video.
Yeah, that's what I'm
thinking. And we will not get to the end of the 2-hour video. There is no way.
Certainly not. Certainly not. And
although, on the upside, that 2 hours of video probably has about 35-40 minutes of actual Well, actual proper science content. So,
Content. Well, shouldn't we just say content? I think you got a little carried away.
Oh, you're being generous.
Yeah.
I think that's a better. There will be a section within the multiple hours, but we won't make anything about how much information is in it. That's a dangerous.
Well, I was
depends
talking
if
about
you
the bits of the Nova. I was talking about the bits of Nova.
Yeah, I was about to call Greg.
Oh, yeah. There might be accidentally quoting something that's actually true. Yeah, that could be information. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. All right.
Yeah, well, it depends whether you spell content with a U.
Oh my! All right. On that note, so it sounds like we're going to proceed with they live, we see, choose one, the lie or reality, whatever the hell that means. We're picking that. All right. Here it comes. And we should probably apologize again. It's more Jeranism. We apologize. Here it comes.
Chat, brace yourself.
Ignition sequence.
Pause. Move that back. I want to see the green screen.
Houston. What? What do you want to see?
The green screen. I want to actually look at it.
All right.
That bit right at the front. The following video has been approved for open-minded thinking human beings by the Motion Picture Association of JISM. Restricted and reality under 17 requires awake parental supervision. Right, moving on.
Okay, yeah. So it basically took something and made it into it was rational speech beforehand and has turned it into word salad. Okay, good.
Well, it says anti-conformist, anti-scientific. It's nice to know that he's being honest, at least in some small part.
Indeed. And I should congratulate you because technically, even though you didn't call it, you were calling drink at 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty damn good. Okay, here we go.
Ignition sequence start.
Cut the volume. Here we go.
1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Oh, we do indeed.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about.
Okay, I'll bet anybody $5 he starts out with, hey everybody.
Turn blue.
What you're
Is Jeranism?
is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jeranism back with another video for you today. Just a few things to show you. First, I want to show you how I caught the ISS transit across the moon the other night. Pretty cool stuff. So here it is. Enjoy.
Okay, drink already. I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah.
Step 1. And we don't even need to discuss it. Right? I mean, bullshit. Here we go.
Here,
you
step
may
that
have not
back
noticed
a
it.
little bit.
I didn't even notice.
Okay.
He's going to do it at 50% speed. Just stop it as it gets close to the center.
You know, I got a feeling you're going to spoil his stupidity, but okay.
At the time, so let's slow it down 50% and watch again.
That's where you wanted me to stop it? Okay.
Okay. That's actually not the right shape for the ISS, believe it or not.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You know what that is? That is the right shape for that little freaking robot in that Disney movie. That's what that is. Wally, that's what that is.
That is not. That's actually.
Where's Wally?
I really wish he told us when this video was taken.
Oh, that is funny.
Are we sure it isn't Space Ant?
Honestly, it looks like a small object much closer than that.
I got a feeling it's much closer. I just got a feeling.
Can we report this to Disney?
Unauthorized use of Wally.
Anyone else?
They don't like their shit being used, even for fair use.
They do
Anyone else realize that looks oddly a lot like a moth?
It does, actually. That's kind of what I was thinking originally.
Nah, I'm thinking no.
You know, the things that would be flying at that insane speed in the air?
What you guys are failing to consider is look at the movement. I think there's some chicanery going on here. Here we go.
Did you catch it that time? All right, let's go a little bit slower. Let's go 90% now. See if you can see it's going left to right.
I don't think he means 90% speed. I think he means 90% reduction.
So you should have been able to see it there.
Oh, and I also think he's an idiot.
One final time, let's zoom in and get all the way to the truth and see what we can see. We're going to get here super close with a zoom in, and...
It is true whether or not you believe in it. And the sooner you understand that, the faster we can get on.
Drink.
Okay.
Yeah, what he's done there, he's made the mistake between what is essentially the ISS, the International Space Station, and Neil deGrasse Tyson, which are two totally different things.
Oh, like you're saying you've never confused the two? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying that if you zoom in the moon, you won't see Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Ever. Neil deGrasse Tyson is not the man on the moon, folks, contrary to Jism's strongly held belief.
All right. Okay, we've cleared up one major...
He is fat and jolly, so okay.
Okay.
Isn't he the keeper of the stars?
I believe so.
All things in the cosmos.
No, Neil deGrasse Tyson is actually just a really kick-ass science communicator.
Indeed.
All right, moving on.
Moving on.
With the political conversations about how to solve the problems that face us.
Wow. Relax, Neil. Don't cry. And no, I did miss the ISS, but I just wanted to show people how insanely easy it would be to fake this.
And, of course, since it's possible to fake something, it must be fake.
As long as my day was correct, how would you disprove it? And once edited and then rendered, there's absolutely no way to tell. And just so I'm clear again, as I just stated...
Okay, who did not say that was some fake shit when he was showing it? And he's saying there's no way to tell. Which among our group did not call him out on that?
When he slowed it down...
I called it when it first came through. I'm going, wait a minute, that's the wrong look.
I'm telling you, look at it. It's Wally.
That footage. It is not real. It is not the real ISS going in front of the moon. I missed it. I didn't get any of it recorded.
Okay, he's sort of implying that there is a real ISS, isn't he?
It's it's actually a Star Wars TIE fighter attempting to have sex with a disjointed spermatozoa chromosome.
And I was wondering why it took this long, RJ. Here we go.
In Real World Paint, a free application, and in less than 5 minutes, I was able to fake the ISS going across the moon. And again, there would be no way for you to debunk it as long as my angle and times were correct.
Except that it didn't look anything like it, and the movement was extremely disjointed.
No, the ISS is longer, and it doesn't actually have and it's set up differently. ISS usually doesn't transit the moon.
Yes, but he did claim that we can't debunk it, so I guess we can't.
Well, we already did.
Also, it wouldn't move across the screen that fast, I don't think.
And certainly
right?
not.
Well, no, it's actually moving at a pretty good clip.
Oh, yeah.
You can image it directly, but it's not actually sitting at that angle respective to the Earth. It isn't.
Well, I mean, like, it moves fast, but it doesn't move like an insane speed, right? Like, well, I mean, perspective-wise, if you could zoom in on it, it wouldn't be at that.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna. Red's got some videos. They accomplished exactly that.
So if I use like a Photoshop thing to make a fake New York, that disproves the real New York?
Yes.
Yep, that's exactly what he's saying.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. I'll go. Prove practically everything in the universe. I think I could Photoshop a Jeranism to prove that Jeranism is actually CGI.
You might be able to do that. You're quite correct.
Yeah.
Well, once you know how to do logic.
Indeed. All right.
Yeah, I mean, if you put him on top of the ISS as well, then fantastic.
Okay.
So all I did from there was lay it over my moon footage, and ta-da, you've got the ISS transit. Now, imagine how easy it would be for NASA to fake anything. They get $53 million a day. I did it in 10 minutes with zero budget. And look how easy it is for TV shows and movies to fake the free fall.
Okay.
Well, yeah, there you see he's shot himself in the foot there, because he said he's done it on no budget. I mean, how's he going to get a Patreon started for this one?
Oh, good point.
He's not thought this through. He's not thought this through
at all.
Apparently not. Gotta admit, this one's less painful than the last video, don't you think?
Ball floating with the ISS. By the way, does anyone think...
Yes.
You know, it could only be better with Julie Andrews in the scene, I think.
And the moon wouldn't move quite that quickly. Fine.
Even with Julie Andrews? All right, here we go.
That this show I'm about to show is funny. It's called The Big Bang Theory. At all?
What?
Jeez, it is terrible. I watched like a 10-minute segment of parts that
drink?
were supposed to be funny.
Okay.
All right. I now believe the Earth is flat, and NASA's lying to us because I agree the Big Bang is a bit shit.
I don't quite see the connection, but I guess we have to take his word for it, huh? All right.
That's because there isn't a connection. He's being an idiot again.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. See, this is why I ask you to come here to tell me these things. I do appreciate it. So here we go.
I've never seen a worse show. Really bad. Anyway, here's a small sample. Enjoy.
What?
I love this part! Me too! I have strongly mixed feelings!
So from what I can tell,
Thanks. I was really hoping for a copyright strike. Appreciate it, Jaron.
and when I say terrible, this show is horrendous. From what I can tell, they have a character that's on the space station, and you can just see the way that they're able to mimic the so-called weightless atmosphere in the ISS very, very easily.
Frank!
Okay.
Click.
Right.
You don't know Jack!
Weightless atmosphere.
Okay.
Weightless fucking atmosphere.
I think that covers it pretty well.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do this scene probably on that airplane that goes out of the atmosphere.
Yes, they did on the vomit comet.
So then his argument's just bullshit.
Since
His argument is no. Yeah.
Since it can be faked, it must be fake. I see that as a classic non sequitur. All right, here we go.
Let's watch.
Okay, great talking to you. Gotta go. Well, space is ruined.
So you'll even notice here that he goes underneath that white tubing there, which would make most people, great researchers like Jera White, say, well, it couldn't possibly be on wires.
There's my beautiful bride. Can you see me?
I can. How are you?
I'm amazing. I mean, this is even better than I dreamed. I look out the window and it's all so unbelievable. Hey, look, this pen is floating. How crazy is that?
And so with movies like Gravity and Interstellar doing an even better job, now is the time we need to ask and question everything we get from these so-called authorities, the so-called intellectuals. Because again, we see there...
Yeah, for God's sake, don't talk to any intellectuals. You want to avoid that like the plague.
With augmented reality or...
Wait.
Yes?
Think about this for a minute. What exactly is... He's talking about life on the ISS. There's thousands of hours of video running around of people actually on the ISS. Why the hell is he using a fucking ABC TV show? Why is he using a TV show?
Because he thinks that they didn't actually go in a weightless atmosphere, which they did, because I imagine they did on the airplane, because it's become so much cheaper to do it now, to go up in the airplane than try to fake it with wires. That it's actually cheaper to go up in the airplane than it is to fake that shit. Because they would have to build the set, build the wires, hide the wires, CGI in anything that's floating besides him. So it's actually probably cheaper to go on that airplane. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, yeah, it is. On top of that, the inside of the aircraft can be reconfigured to anything you want. You know, if I wanted to pay the money to have the inside of the Death Star built, a Death Star corridor built on this aircraft, I could do it. Hollywood does this on Hollywood sci-fi movies do this. If they actually need something that's weightless.
Why wouldn't you just go and shoot it on the Death Star?
Because what Death Star?
So there is no ISS, but there is a Death Star. You know,
of course.
That makes sense in Jaron Land. Okay. There we go. Yes, since there's a TV show about it, it must be fake. Okay.
CGI.
It must be fake.
In what looks like real time, he flicks a pen that obviously isn't there. All right, let's move on from there. It's time to talk to Neil deGrasse Tyson as he takes some chicken wing eating contest or something, but he makes some interesting points I thought we would highlight.
So in your book, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry, you talk about how the shipping industry could save billions of dollars if they shipped in spheres rather than boxes. Because I read the book on Saturday, so it's still fresh in my mind. And it has me thinking about all the other ways that we leave time and money and energy on the table by being locked in these conventions. Are there some other things that drive you nuts in everyday life because you know as a society we can just do them easier, better, smarter?
Yeah, I mean,
I honestly thought he was kidding. Was that a joke? Ship things in spheres and we will save billions of dollars? Yeah. Has Neil ever seen how they ship things across the ocean? Has he ever seen how tightly shipping containers are packed? How could you pack boxes in a sphere? That's just not logical. Be on the lookout, though, for the ISS Tyson, which should be coming to a port near you. We will now be shipping things in spheres held in wire cages. Hence, saving billions of dollars. I love science.
Darren, I see what he's done there. I see what you did there, Darren. And it's not funny. You're trying to make a joke here, and it's not working.
And I detected that myself. I have to agree.
He's fell flat on his freaking face. And there's his there's his Ghostbusters rip-off. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten nailed for that.
Yeah. I did think how excited he was. He got to spell out ass in a video. I'm sure he enjoyed that thoroughly.
Okay, to somewhat retract what I was saying earlier, they did not run out the airplane that you can use.
Okay.
What they did is they used platforms. They used like platforms they CGI'd out. That's why his legs stay the way they are constantly.
Okay.
Because he's actually kneeling on a platform.
Okay, but our argument does not change. Because platforms were used in this does not automatically disqualify anything else from being real. Okay.
Yeah, just to clarify, though, that, if he says, oh, they're full of shit, well, he'd say, yeah, I guess he's right. They didn't use technically a weightless atmosphere. They just made it look like that.
There's no such thing as a weightless atmosphere.
Well, okay, yeah.
It's called microgravity.
Way less. Not weightless, way less.
All right, we're actually making good progress through this video, I have to say. Here we go.
A lot of scientific engineering solutions to problems where if you're not scientifically or engineeringly literate, you don't even know that would simplify it.
So these days, I'm sure you spend more time than you'd like debunking conspiracy theories. So what I'm hoping I can do is that you can give me kind of an idiot's guide for how to deal with these various issues so that if I'm ever at a bar and some flat earther comes up to me, I can quickly expose them and get back to my drink. Does that sound good?
Okay, so what I don't do,
what do you not
it may
do?
feel this way, and I've done it once, maybe twice, but what I don't do is debunk crazy ideas. I spend my whole life doing that. I'm an educator. My task is not to debunk the crazy ideas of adults, but establish an educational system that is incapable of producing an adult that thinks that way in the first place.
Well, let me ask you this. You've been at it for a long time. Over the last 10 years or so, have you seen an increase in the number of people who maybe think these things?
I think that number of people may be the same over time. They just now can write a blog that the whole world has access to via a search engine, right? You be alone with your own view that has no correspondence to objective reality.
It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson is some kind of psychic.
Yes, it is truly amazing.
Yeah, there's the same number of flat earthers. They just figured out how to be fucking louder.
Yeah, that's basically it.
And
all
get
the crazy
together.
people used to stay in their basement and stay home, but
they still do that. But now they got computers. They're still in the basement.
You know what? To be perfectly honest with you, if there was an IQ if there was an IQ slash competency test required to get a license to use a computer, Jeranism would fail. Quite a number of people would fail. Ken Ham, he might get close. Ken Hovind, fail. Chisholm, fail.
I would
Ian
definitely
Judy,
say.
so far, so much fail, there wouldn't be anything left of him.
Alrighty.
Yes,
and
I
you
had
type
the
it into a Google search, and it'll find every other person like you who thinks the same way, giving you the false sense that you're actually onto something, that you have some deep insight into the world that no one else has. This is delusional. The internet landed in our laps without creating a curriculum that empowers you to know when someone online is full of shit.
Oh, we know when somebody's full of it. Believe me.
That we do. And we've had a pretty good demonstration through these last two videos.
So you said
actually
these people...
that's not what Gibson said. He said we know you're full of shit. He was talking about Tyson. We already know that Tyson's not full of shit. We know that Jaron is full of shit.
That is correct.
I gotta stick with one name now. Really.
Okay.
Their view. But then people got together who all had the same view, and this gives them the false sense that they're onto something, that they have some deep insight into the world that no one else has, and you said it was delusional. Well, Neil, what if the people, instead of writing a blog, what if the ones who got together wrote textbooks? What then? Is it still delusional?
Okay.
Do you have any idea how facts? Does he have any idea how facts are vetted to go into textbooks of any stripe?
Oh, my hand's up. I know the answer. No.
Who here can tell me how a textbook is actually put together?
Is it string and glue?
Only if you're talking about the physical book. I'm talking about the contents of the book.
Enlighten us.
Right. You go through the scientific method. You start with a hypothesis. You go to, and if it does well enough, it gets to be a theory. And with enough evidence on top of all of that, you get something that can actually be distilled down into something that would make a reasonable blurb for a 5-year-old, and that goes in the fucking textbook.
Yeah, that's I see oh, what's his name? Yeah, Kent Hovind. He does that a lot. He'll use like textbooks from the 80s and shit and 70s where
yes.
It's like 2017. Doesn't realize it changes every year or gets updated every 5 years. You know, it's always changing. You got to use
a lot of textbooks. It's actually to be updated to something that resembles the actual cutting edge.
It's worse than that. He uses a book that's 2,000 years old.
That's a good one.
Actually, more than that. Well, the final Bible as we would know it today wasn't actually assembled until, what was it, Nicaea, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
About 300 AD.
Yeah. It depends which Bible you're talking about. Are you talking about the King James version or the?
We're talking about the original. The original that came out of the original Roman Orthodox version.
And they're actually proud that it never changes. They're proud. Look, science changes all the time.
Because we observe more things, and therefore learn more things.
Indeed.
Because that means we actually can refine what we know, or what we can determine from the evidence at hand. Okay, that constant state of refinement is in fact what science is, or at least that's the anticipated result. Okay, using a Bronze Age piece of trash, of knobbly trash, to try and work out how the hell this thing and this thing and this thing work, isn't gonna help you. Okay, we've been making beer for millennia, but only in the last about 100 years we figured out how it actually works. Think about this for 3 seconds.
You may have exceeded the attention span.
Well, right. I've exceeded Jism's attention span by miles.
That is my belief.
I got a few light years between here and where Jared's attention span ended, and to think I'm the one with no attention span.
Yeah,
I do. I have the attention. Usually I have the attention span of a drunk hamster on crack. I just
that's an interesting image.
well, the squirrel part of the name actually has some other connotations to it. I do. I'm a freaking squirrel when I get started. Just be not enough coffee, no Adderall. I'm just. I have no attention span whatsoever. And what the hell is this shit? You can't question anything I say. I'm a scientist.
No,
yeah.
It's pretty much expected that whatever this individual produces will immediately be questioned by everyone else.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out that is a very white coat, so that's pretty good. And
well, that's about the best. That's about the best.
When a scientist wears a tie and a white coat, that's serious business.
Yeah.
And I'd also point out he's holding a flask. I don't think you can get more scientist than that.
Well, to be perfectly honest, anybody can look like that, but unless you've got a PhD and a bunch of publications, nobody's going to listen to you.
Yeah, but see, maybe you're not paying attention. Look,
I seriously, I couldn't look like that.
And look how he's looking over the glasses. Does that not scream science? He's got the glasses lowered.
No, it's condescension is what he's trying to accomplish, and unfortunately, it's not actually working.
Does this mean that if Jaron does not take a flask with blue liquid to it when he does his experiment out in the desert, that we can dismiss it as not scientific?
I'm guessing.
Right,
but to be perfectly honest with you,
well, we want to make sure we understand what true science is.
Yeah, to be fair, he does have a blue laser, so blue laser.
Here's the fun part: being an actual scientist means that everybody you know will question every word you say. That's the everything you say in an academic sense. Everyone is going to go through every word, pour over every experiment, do everything they can to prove that you're wrong. And if
remember,
Jaron, respect.
Remember, Jaron is quoting a real scientist there, Isaiah. This Mr. Isaiah guy. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and clever in their own sight. I was just reading that in Nature magazine just last week.
Yeah.
I know.
I think they call it W theory.
Right. I know. Yeah. At this point, I know enough to know that I know precisely dick.
That is the beginning of wisdom.
Which is the start of real knowledge, I find.
Absolutely.
I don't know nearly enough to call anybody on engineering, for example, and I wouldn't try. Why? Because I'm not an engineer.
No, at some point we have to trust people who have actually trained and learned in order to be able to do what they do. And the whole flat earther mentality of don't take anybody else's word for anything, great. You've taken the concept of combined knowledge, which is what has made humanity great, and said, no. If I can't do it, it doesn't work. If I don't understand it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Like I said, the first time I joined was just to clarify, SciStrike. You just ignored the last 1,000 years of science, right?
400 years. Yeah. Science as we know it only existed for about 400 years.
Well, I'm a philosopher, and learning how plants work, and I'd say at least 1,000 years of
more than that.
Science.
We've got Aristarchus back in 200 BCE, who was the first person to determine that the Earth was actually fucking curved.
Alrighty, let us hit play.
Speaking of people who are full of it, let's listen to Neil. Be delusional.
Your hypothesis, you test it. I get a result. A rival of mine double checks it because they think I might be wrong. They perform an even better experiment than I did, and they find out, hey, this experiment matches.
All right, Neil, now you literally cannot be more full of shit. What? You know damn well what you're telling us.
No.
What?
Let's want to make this point.
Drink twice.
Oh yeah.
He's just referring to the fact that he had a hot dog earlier. That's all.
Let's let it run for like 30 more seconds to see what he was about to say.
All right, yeah, because it's obviously going to be crap, but let's see.
Fairy tale. That is not what happens in reality.
Okay.
I had a hypothesis. I tested. A rival scientist of mine, he thinks I'm wrong. So he
See, if you say it in a funny voice, it debunks it.
tests it. So Neil, I do a 3-year study on speciation and evolution, and then I post my findings in the Journal of the Masonic Brotherhood, or whatever you guys call it. Okay, first off, where is my rival scientist coming from? Who does he work for? The Scientific Organization Against Evolution? Doesn't really seem like there would be a rival scientist for that. And then, for him to redo my test...
All right, you have something to add there, sir?
Oh, yes.
Okay, please do.
Jism really don't know how much it's fucking hard for scientific research to get funding at first. Just to have to be able to be financed for having any kind of science experiment that you want to study or things like that. And when you start working on a project, there's another guy at the other side of the planet who probably have the same idea, and they will try to do the same things. And of course, they're gonna watch if the guy is wrong or if he made an error. That's why they have multiple countries are particle accelerators and stuff like LIGO system in the States, and there's got the one in Japan, because there's a big competition about scientific research. So of course those guys will back check everything that they will publish in their fields of research, and that's the good thing to do.
To add to this, if assuming that I was any good with astrophysics, which I'm really not, if I found a problem, a really major problem in a thing that Neil deGrasse Tyson put out, holy shit, the world would be bowing at my fucking feet. That's where your rival is. You don't need an anti-evolution thing. And Jaron, your 3 years of research, typing in evolution is a lie into Google does not a PhD make, you sorry fuck.
No, it does not. Yeah, he tries to imply that it's all one big club. And they're all...
But it's not.
No,
it's not.
No. It's a bitch.
Competition. It's a cutthroat freaking business. It really is.
Yeah, because
and believe me, if your ideas are wrong, if you've got something that is fundamentally wrong, the scientific community will eviscerate you.
Pretty much.
And then they'll sweep up what's left off the floor of the arena and set up for the next match. They will ignore you. The guy that set up plate tectonics, he turned out to be right, but he was completely eviscerated in the scientific community at the time. It took another 50 or 60, 70 years for us to have the precision instruments required to validate his theory.
Yeah, which I would say that's plate tectonics is probably one of the best arguments against a young Earth.
Or a flat Earth.
Or a flat Earth, yeah.
Or a flat Earth, too. Even a flat Earth. That makes no sense on a flat Earth. Period. I don't get how we would, underneath the Arctic, they would have to find like a giant pit where all the Earth is just like being absorbed at the edge of the Earth. I don't know.
Well, it's just honestly, on a disk world, you wouldn't have things like earthquakes. Volcanism wouldn't happen because you can't generate enough pressure. Not only that, but you should be able to find out how thick the damn thing is.
Yeah, not just that too, but also how would you explain magnetism? Doesn't a magnetism require a molten core with certain things in there.
Now, if you're going to require flat earthers to actually account for observations, that's just silly talk.
That is crazy talk. You're right.
No, I expect them to do that. They won't, but I expect it.
That's good. Keep
No,
your
I don't expect
expectations
that I
high.
demand it.
All right. We are halfway through. Congratulations, everyone.
Woohoo!
Well, he's got to do a 3-year study as well. So, question. Who pays the scientist to perform a test that's already been done? Who pays him?
Funding,
the answer is
funding,
nobody.
Various funding bodies, universities, and etc. And whether you like it or not, confirmatory experiments are nearly always done.
Yeah, I mean, repeatability is one of the core components of this kind of thing.
It's a core component of the thing. So if I do an experiment, I come up with result X. The guy behind the next guy on the other side of the country wants to see if I'm wrong. And he asks the same funding body for the same money to do the same experiments or even a refinement of the experiment, and comes up with not only that I'm right, but we have a little bit, but we can get a little bit of how. Then, yeah, that's how it happens. It's not a question of
it's not a
question of money.
Yeah, I'd also like to point out that. Sorry, RJ, go ahead.
Don't you remember that big scandal on Breitbart where they found out how NASA used their time machine to actually secretly fund Aristarchus? Oh boy, I mean, that really blew the lid off it.
Oh, I know, right? What's up with that? And
He's awesome.
And it wasn't
He's awesome.
Breitbart, it was the National Enquirer and the Sun.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, anyway, I want to dispute this picture here because I wasn't aware that women were allowed to do science in the black and white days.
Yeah, no, they were.
They were allowed to do science, but no one paid any attention to them or had them publish.
Yeah.
Another thing too is he's assuming that all scientists just prove other scientists right, when a lot of the time their work probably conflicts with each other. So they'll rerun their first experiment or come up with a whole new one entirely, and you know they don't always go together. There's always conflicts, especially in a newer field where they might not know or not, like especially quantum mechanics. I'm sure there's new stuff happening all the time with that.
Just to be
new mathematics.
Has anyone ever?
What?
Go ahead, RJ.
I'm just going to ask whether has anybody ever detected Jaron ever citing a technical paper or showing he's ever actually read any science work? Just asking.
RJ,
Never
wake
have.
up. RJ, wake up. You're having a nice dream. Wake up. You're having a happy dream. Don't be having a happy dream.
Real scientists don't assume that other scientists are right. They go out and prove themselves, because otherwise they're just assuming.
Yes, if possible, disprove the other person's accomplishments. All right, here we go.
So keep talking about science like it's otherworldly. It's men. Men who want fame and power and money.
Apparently he's not looking at his own screen. Some of these people are not men.
And men lie, and they distort truth, and you are a prime example.
I'm going to try to sort of bust into the Instagram world.
This is exciting.
I'm a little slow, but your audience will be the first to know that I plan to be there. But it's not going to be like anything else. I care a lot about art, and so I have a set of. I'm just going to put pretty photos on my Instagram.
I think that sounds nice, Neil. But I also would say, don't paint yourself into a corner already, Neil. You haven't even gotten your Instagram account off the runway.
Yeah, I got to take it off the runway. Oh,
classic selfie.
Oh, okay.
Iconic.
So here's the backstory behind that. So I was the last in line, and I say, Mr. President, we'd like to just take a selfie with me and Bill. Maybe it'll break the internet. Why not? And then he was a good trooper. I was fully planning to take the selfie myself, and then I did it. No space left.
No, in that moment.
Oh! And then Bill Nye whipped it out, and he saved the day.
This first one is from Kanye West. It's off Getting It In by Jadakiss.
I ain't famous. My apologies. Are you into astrology? Cause I'm trying to make it to Uranus.
Okay, Uranus is Uranus until you're like 8 years old. Then thereon it's Uranus. So that's an abomination. But you give it to it until you graduate 3rd grade, and you get out of your anal fixations, your scatological referencing.
Neil, did you have anal fixations at 8 years old? It's a little strange.
This is from Immortal Technique. The song is called Dominant Species.
I'm the technique and you're nobody, so what you trying to say? Stellar density becomes your physical alignment. 1.8 billion tons per square inch confinement.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Let me think. 1.8 billion tons. That is the density of a white dwarf star, approximately. The density of what the sun will be on death.
Well, here's the kind of nonsense we get stuck with. So you're talking 3.6 trillion pounds per square inch in density of a dead sun. Who believes this?
Yeah. That empowers you to know.
Is that a measure of density?
Yes, it is. When someone online is full of shit. Mega death sloths with, I can't even pronounce this, liquid rage.
I was going to say. I was like, I got that one for you.
Liquid rage. So here we go.
Careful, Neil. Little.
This is some slow-moving sauce.
Yeah, but sometimes it kind of tidal waves.
I got you.
There you go.
Are you ready? Let's do this together. Ready?
Ready.
Fist
Cheers.
bump.
Cheers, Neil.
Wing bump.
Wing bump.
The liquid now has access, because liquid...
The liquid rage.
The liquid... So now I have the liquid?
So now that you've eaten 10 scorching hot chicken wings on YouTube with a bald guy, I think this is now as good a time as any to talk about how insignificant we all are in the scheme of things.
No. Well, here's my thing.
Yeah.
We have come to define significance as I'm special and everything else isn't. Religions thinking they're special, cultures thinking they're special, individuals thinking they're special. The top 4 ingredients in life, in your body, top 4 atoms in order: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. Those 4 atoms. Do you know what the top ingredients are in the universe? The top 4 chemically active atoms in the universe? Hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen.
I am the universe.
Yes! So upon learning that you're not special because you do not contain special ingredients, is the same fact that includes the idea that while we live in this universe, the universe lives within us. We are special because we're the same.
Wow, that was real profound. Man, Neil, you broke the internet. Because we're all one people. And as one, we must come together, unite, and be one.
What the hell does that have to do with what
he got
Neil
that
just
from
said?
John Lennon.
Yeah.
The sad part of it is that Jaren, Jism here, somehow in the last several minutes managed to break my brain. Okay.
That is not good at all.
Oh no. I definitely did not have enough alcohol on hand to cushion the blow.
I should have warned you. I feel
Somebody
this is
said,
my
you know
failing.
what? You owe me, Strike.
All right. Not a problem. Here we go. 3 minutes
Is anybody ever going to accuse Jaren of being profound on anything?
No.
No, he took.
I kind of think so. So he can just keep at that little axe as long as he wants to grind it. But I don't think anybody's going to hear anything that anyone's going to put on a monument.
Probably not.
The only thing I can think. The only thing I can think anybody would put. The only place I can think of that.
It's easy for you to.
No shit. The only sort of anything that I think anybody would put on, put something he said on, is a gravestone. His. And I'd be willing to bet there's 100. I'd be willing to bet there are a few thousand of us right here, just on YouTube alone, who would be willing to find the stupidest thing he ever said, and then we could all go and engage in Mortal Kombat, see who gets to put one on that gravestone.
I think
Seriously.
I would agree with that. All righty. And here we go.
The truth is, the fakery is just too easy now. So you have a choice. See what's going on, or see what they want you to see.
Oh, that was ominous.
Oh God, that's from that Flat Earth movie. Oh, that's from that Flat Earth movie that I watched part of a while back, a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The guy puts out a brand new Flat Earth movie every freaking year, and I took one of his videos apart. He got mad. I think he actually banned me from his channel after that.
How many times is that guy going to take his sunglasses off?
As many times as it takes for him to realize that he's being stupid, even having the glasses.
That could be quite a while then.
Now, I'm not an English major, but is fakery a word?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. It doesn't sound like a good word.
Speaking of, I completely forgot, RJ and Sci, I was going to send you a book, and I never got to it. I will do this soon.
Sure, cool. Excellent. Alrighty.
Please be aware that the book I've got on hand right now is a few years old, and even I read through it now and cringe. So,
Alrighty. 2 minutes left.
Analogy from a bad movie to make our point.
Drink.
Okay. You got it.
Yeah, you see, what I'd be worried about here is how much did I actually pay for these glasses?
or what the hell piece of electronics is in these glasses is fucking with my eyesight. Because obviously something's interfering with this guy's visual cortex. And yes, I'm starting to think that this is actually Kent Hovind's prison cell. This environment he's got here.
Could be.
What the unholy fuck?
So choose wisely. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, friends. If you'd like to support this work or to become a patron, the links are coming up in a moment. We'd love your donations if you can, and if not, well, my videos will always remain free. So be kind, don't lie, and ship everything in the world in spheres and save billions. And that's true whether or not you believe in it.
Oh, you're so clever.
Till next time, this has been Jeranism. Peace!
You know what I find just absolutely interesting?
What would that be?
Oh, Jeranism is somehow managing to quote mine the shit out of Neil deGrasse Tyson without changing any of the words. The only other person I know of that's capable of that is Carl Gallups.
All right. Well, let's see. I would propose we not go into Jeranism Live 16 and try and handle that 2 hours. Considering this one was 16 minutes long, and it is now 3:10.
Anyway, it's dodo time for me, so...
Oh, all of us. I mean, who do you think can still even stand up after this much stupid? It has nothing to do with the alcohol.
I'm going to have a hard time.
Last week, it lasts almost 5 hours.
Yep, and we're doing it in 3 this time.
Indeed. Well, we cut out a lot of stupid, just because we're cool like that. All right.
How How about we find another target for next week?
Oh, there's plenty.
How will we ever find some stupid on the internet?
Spirit science.
Oh, spirit science.
You want to do something fun? You want to do something fun? The Human History movie. Let's do it. It's almost an hour long, and it is so full of stupid. Even Marty had to do it in 2 parts.
Okay.
I can't wait for Genesis History to come out and see all the videos that are going to mess with that. Or is it called Genesis History? The one.
You mean that stupid movie that
Eric
Hovind is going to is paying to have put in theaters?
Yeah, is Genesis History?
That's
something like
no.
that?
Is Genesis History? That's the one that's already been done. That.
Yeah, Genesis 3D.
Yeah. Genesis 3D. That's
yeah,
the one.
Genesis 3D.
Yeah, that's.
I can't wait to see all the videos about that. I think it turns out.
You know, one of the
Paulogia asked if I would help him on skewering that, and I said sure.
You realize you're going to have to watch it, right, RJ? You know you're going to have to watch the movie to do that?
Oh, yeah. I have an impervious stomach. In fact,
right.
I already watched this excerpt and looked up a bunch of technical literature on nepocosmology things to fill in all the gaps that apparently Mr. Hovind didn't.
There are gaps, there are gaps, you say?
You know, actually,
RJ, Evolutionist Bible in case you start losing faith in science.
RJ, if you get a minute and can talk to Paul, see if I can be there for that one too, because I got to see. I got to be there for that one.
At the moment, I'm not on Twitter, so much of anybody.
Well, your Twitter account is still present. I checked.
Yeah, what's that all about?
Oh, well, it's there, but I can't access it. I've been locked out of it. I got a notice this morning, and they said, oh, you have to send a thing to the telephone thing to get a security thing to discuss all of this. And I go, I have no phone, so I had to email them. I have no idea whether Dinesh D'Souza or Alex Zane or some other nincompoop turned me in for my strident nastiness online or not.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute now. Are you
usually
saying
that would be a potential security issue? Means that someone tried to log in as you.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah, I have no idea what the circumstances are. Anyway, I emailed them to find out what the hell was going on about it because I said, I don't have a phone. I can't afford a phone. Oh, because I don't have money.
Oh, you can't just like.
I got the little GoFundMe things and writing books for people to buy and constantly urging people to do those things.
And they don't do them very well.
Remember, Jaron has more patrons than I do.
You've got more patrons than I do. I've got one.
Well,
you're only slightly behind me.
Well, anyway, hopefully the Twitter thing gets straightened out because that's you were doing some good work there, RJ.
It was meeting my needs in a variety of levels. I was able to monitor science people right up front, so I was getting technical papers, and of course I was making a point of poking at every idiot that I encountered online that I could muster.
I got a question for you, RJ. Do you actually have like decent internet?
Yeah, I have no problem on the internet front. In fact, I once joked about why I still had an AOL account. Sometimes I can download stuff through AOL. I can't download through Google Chrome. It all depends. So I like to have lots of different things to get what I need. And it's a high-speed internet. It's not the Comcast one, but it's still okay from AT&T or whoever. And it works for my needs, but... I have
a recommendation for you. As long as you can use Ethernet, get contact Vonage. Because I think they'd give you access to a landline for like $20 a month. 20 or 25
$20 a month, buckaroo.
Wow, shit.
I could actually. Oh, if I had that, I had my cell phone there. It was $25. It was a little portable phone that I had just fine. But I ran to the point where I didn't have money to do that, so I had to triage. Was I going to do stuff online, or was I going to have the phone?
Wow.
You know, am I going to eat? Or am I going to have the phone? So all those little fiddly bit things. My EBT account, which Alex Jane was complaining about. Oh my, you're reduced down to $16. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Hey, is Google Talk still just handing out phone numbers?
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it's the result of hacking or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I still got the little phone. And I keep it charged, and if someday I can reach the point, if I can squeak along, I'm not sure. I'm just going on Medicare, but they're supposed to be reducing my Social Security, but then there's supposed to be more money coming in next month, theoretically, that would compensate for that, but I don't know if it's going to get in the bank account or not. And so I'm, as usual, in the state of I have no idea what I'm going to be doing for them the next month.
Gotcha.
That sounds familiar.
All right.
Yeah, it's the wonderful joys of not being independently wealthy and having to go on early retirement.
Not only that, don't you guys find it insulting that peddling reality is nowhere near as profitable as peddling bullshit on the internet? Did y'all notice that?
Absolutely true.
That is.
I look at with great envy at Steve Meyer of the Discovery Institute, who pulls down $150,000 a year, or Ken Ham, who pulls down $150,000 a year plus perks in his little operation. So I could get along quite nicely on 10% of that.
All right. Now, on that note,
somebody needs to
on that cheery note,
$5 a month to Patreon for RJ here.
Or if you can't even do that, I got the stupid GoFundMe there. You can go onto my website and get links to the thing, or buy my damn books.
There you go.
That I get the royalties on that. That has made the difference on a couple of the months to where I actually have a little bit of money poking in from that, especially from the ones through Amazon. They're Johnny on the spot on giving stuff. They give their royalties the month after the sale is made. Damn fast.
Damn, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, and I was able to set what the prices and things are, so I get about $4 a book off of the hard copies.
Well, if I ever manage to find the money, I'll buy one of your books.
On that
well,
note,
even if you can't, tell everybody you know. That poor desperate scholar can use the book, and I guarantee you, either one of them, the fiction or the nonfiction, I guarantee you, you won't be disappointed.
Now, does that count as your plug, RJ, or do you still have? Do you
that
have
a count
plug?
As a damn plug?
Okay, so you don't have a separate one prepared. We're going to let that stand.
No, we'll stick with that one. I don't want to have everybody go, "Ye God, shut up, RJ."
All right, so everybody got that. Buy RJ's books; they rock. I have done so, and do that.
I'm hoping to one day.
All right, now once again we poured way too much alcohol into Hill. He's out, I guess.
Yeah, see, that poor little guy, he just drops off like nobody's business, and he's in the same time zone I am, I guess, so it's not that late here.
That's because
boy, that's just
after midnight here, so
Hill does what I do. He is honest with
For
this show.
Pacific
When
time,
we call drink,
got-
he drinks.
I guess.
Well, I did that for the first part of the first video.
Yes,
Then
we used up your alcohol. I know.
Wow.
All righty. So, all right.
I'd love to eventually afford alcohol, but I'm on a Pepsi at the moment.
I've got a bunch of K-cups. I've got a bunch of K-cups.
If you leave them long enough, they'll ferment.
No, most of it's dry powder. Sorry.
Or just success them and use them that way.
Absolutely, that'll work. All right, so we'll do Hill's plug for him. Everybody, Hill rocks. And the same email that you use for everything that's in the in the description of this video. If anyone is interested in the project for the Equinox, by all means, email and we'll talk. All right. As we have moved on to the plug and pug segment, Tao, you want to tell us what you're up to?
Seriously?
Yes, everybody knows. I know. There is no one here that has not seen your videos, and no one who watches this will have not seen your videos. But you might as well mention them anyway. All right, I'll do it. All right, I'll do it for you.
I love that.
Tao's videos rock. Go over to his channel. That's the best I can do.
Simple as that.
Okay. All right. Let's see. This is just great putting people on the spot, and none of them are me. It's amazing.
That's because you're the one putting people on the spot.
Absolutely. I never get to do this. Okay. Dakota, you still there, young fella?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Why don't you tell everybody how cool you are?
Yeah, I'm pretty cool. I prefer to be called Yahweh. If you guys need anything from me, just sacrifice the firstborn.
Are you okay with graven images?
Not really. I'm not a too big fan. Or false idols.
Ah, right, right.
I was going to do a graven image of you, but if not, I'll skip it.
All right. Let's see who's next. Who's next on the list? Mr. Crocosquirrel, tell us how cool you are.
I'm doing lots of video game content, and I got a bunch of recent games here to work. Working on some I'm working on some background research for a video in which we're going to do some really interesting things to Mr. Eric. We're going to turn him inside. We're going to turn him inside out and string his entrails through the trees like Christmas decorations. I'm going to grab a couple of his videos and going to go to town. And if you guys want, you're all invited.
that does sound like fun, doesn't it?
Oh yes. I'm doing the background research on some of the really icky things that are some of his more outrageous claims.
More outrageous claims, you say? Okay.
Well, you have to realize.
Are there any non-outrageous claims from Eric? I haven't spotted any so far.
There are no not outrageous claims. However, some of them are worse than others.
There are degrees of outrageousness, is what you're saying.
Yes, there are degrees, and some of them are particularly egregious, even by Eric Hoban standards.
Okay, see
if I remember correctly, there were a few of them where even Kent's gone, no way, I'm not going anywhere near that. Even I won't go there.
All right.
I mean, we're talking about William Lane Craig levels of stupid.
And you've actually classified. See, this is a level of scholarly activity I'm very impressed with. See, I just grouped it all under one heading, which was that's crap. That's what I did. You've actually.
No, good. Eric actually comes in several subgrades.
Yeah, the systematics is an exciting discipline.
Eric comes in some very subtle grades, and usually it comes with a more egregious abuse of the English language as he gets further into the mystical forest category.
Okay. All right. And let's see. Who is left? Mr. Funk! Mr. Funk, would you like to tell us how cool you are?
Hey, yeah, definitely. So cool, I can barely speak. But no, I have a very fascinating. I'm doing a new series of debunking videos where I'll be showing all of the factual inner errors in some videos on X-porn. The first one I'm starting with is going to be your girlfriend's mother wants a threesome. And I'm just going to go through and show the factual errors of why they're debunking videos, like most people.
Understand. Very good. All righty then. Okay, that's just about everybody has. Oh, I haven't plugged. Okay. I'm me. I do this. There we go.
Okay. To answer our question, does he read Deepak Chopra levels of absurdity? No, actually, Eric, on the average, goes much deeper than Deepak Chopra.
Yeah, but he counts on the whole "look at what a friendly guy I am" thing. That kind of helps him a little. Yeah. Bit.
Well, that just makes it look like he might. That just makes it look like he's hiding something. Honestly, in my opinion. I think what happened here is he actually hit his brain.
All right, now
I'm also thinking about doing some Steve Shives. That ought to be fun.
I would tend to think so.
All
right. So,
well, he used to be an atheist. Now he's a worshiper of feminism. So.
Okay. Now, what we have learned in the first video is we are going to have to keep an eye on Mr. Jeranism to see exactly when he plans on doing his experiment, because
this epochal experiment that will change the reality of everything that we thought we knew.
It was not an attempt at humor to suggest that an expedition be mounted to parallel his experiment with an actual experiment. So let us not forget to keep an eye on his activities, so that we don't miss this event.
And Cy has volunteered to come get me on his way here.
He is within driving distance of where I am.
Well,
it would be driving. It would theoretically be driving distance for me, but you guys haven't seen my minivan.
You guys do not know Bob the Wonder Jeep. Bob the Wonder Jeep has just made it to 402,000 miles. And there is no destination too far. As long as there's not an ocean or large body of water in between, I'm there. Okay. Would anyone like to add anything before we bring on the pug?
Yeah. For the Darren, I would say I'd love to watch it live, but I have a feeling it's going to take him a very long time to finish said experiment.
But
he might be working on it for a couple days.
We're going to do exactly as suggested in this very video we're making now. We're going to do ours. Over the course of an hour. This is this was Tao, right? Tao was the one that pointed this out. We're going to do ours over the course of an hour, and then we'll be done. And then we just sit back in lawn chairs and watch the foolishness for as long as it takes. It's going to be great.
It's possible that concrete sets differently on a flat Earth.
It may. It may.
Actually, we should also take a camera and microphone. We can interview him.
Indeed. Now, I wonder if a debunking video while he's actually present would be entertaining.
While he's actually doing the experiment, I think. While he's actually doing the experiment. I mean, you could just follow him around and go, nah, mate. Oh, mate, you don't want to set your tripod
much more
up like
rudimentary
that,
equipment that actually...
See here.
You up?
I got a fun thing for you.
Yeah?
I got a fun part for you. I'll bring the internet connection.
Okay.
Oh, no.
No, seriously, I
don't want to put your bucket down like that, mate.
It sounds like...
I can do that. I have a cellular modem.
Nice.
It's not actually
I'm on it right now.
Really?
So I can if we have the rest of the gear, I can bring a laptop and the modem, and we can do the whole video live.
Nice. I like it.
Right there on site.
The one way you could theoretically do the logical experiment that the ones did for Stephen Hawking. All you need is a tool that you can use to view. The laser will work fine, or a telescope, or anything else, and then somebody with a pole that's got a marking on it, and then you start at the beginning, and then you just walk along your waterway, which of course by definition is right there in front of you.
Hold up, RJ. Hold up.
You get away, theoretically.
No, see, I was hoping you wouldn't add the walking part.
The thing.
Because at the beginning of your
I have no problem. I'll do the walkie part.
No, at the beginning of your suggestion, you gave me a good excuse to get a helicopter.
Yeah, but 3 miles, that's not far for me. That's a stroll. So that's
I'll set up at one end with the telescope, and we'll rig you up with a GoPro there, RJ, and you can walk along the entire length back and forth. I don't mind.
All I have to have is a staff, and theoretically, according to the spherical Earth theory, the farther I get away, the more I'm going to be moving along the curvature of the water, and therefore the likelihood is that the line is going to be rising higher and higher and higher on my little pole. We can mark down each one as we go.
Indeed, and using that methodology, it removes...
I mean, I know Stephen Hawking is very, very talented. I mean, he does a brilliant American accent, for one. But why? And it's very kind to, do it on a flat surface to help with the wheelchair. But pushing him in the water is going just too far.
Oh, well, he didn't actually do that part. He was actually just a voiceover for the people who were actually doing the experiment, which I think they did on a lake down in California somewhere, on the Colorado, because it was big enough. And they used a laser with a boat initially, and then they switched to a telescope and a helicopter, which went even farther. And so they were able to work that out. And since they could actually physically measure the details, and they were able to calculate all on their own what the curvature of the Earth was, just as that Eratosthenes guy had managed to do, Aristarchus guy had managed to do all that long ago. But theoretically, we should be able to do the same thing, and to be doing it literally parallel to Jaren. Concrete blocks, which are probably going to weigh a ton and are going to be weighing down. I mean, even 7 of them is going to be a little bit of a press on a pickup truck. As I haul blocks and stuff around, I know how that weight builds up. So I'd love it if you can manage to screw his suspension on the truck, continue to do the science experiment.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that could happen.
I would think the only place you could even do an experiment like what he's talking about would be someplace like the California Salt Flats, where it's literally flat for miles.
Well, you do need the watery thing.
Yeah, so I don't see how he would have to. See, that's a problem. There's not really a spot on the planet you could do it accurately. I don't think you'd have to do it.
What he's describing.
No, there's tons of them. Any large body of water that's miles across is going to be reflecting the curvature of the Earth underneath it on its surface, independent of what the shape of the water, the ground is underneath or anything else. And the advantage of the experiment that they did is all you have to do is to get initial setup correct, where you now have a line you don't even care whether or not the Earth or not, although if you want to level it off, fine. Your point is you're pointing at a fixed spot on a marker. And as you move farther and farther away from surface, your marker will have to go higher and higher and higher for it to still be visible because of the curvature of the water over that time. That's the model.
But
and that's what they physically represented on that. Whether or not that little...
How would you keep it straight if you were moving on water, though?
Well, see, that's the beauty of it. You don't need to.
That's the beauty of it. The water will do it for you.
Yeah, the method described.
Yeah, and all you need to do is to be able to get down to where the edge of the water is,
right.
Which is straightforward enough. It looks like you've got a thing you can put into the post. You don't even necessarily have to put it down into the water. You only need to put the bottom of the pole at the surface of the water. If you've got that curvature over that distance of time, it should be already noticeable even at a mile, and will be getting more and more so the farther you go. That was the nice advantage. They used the laser, a bright light, and it diffused as they move farther and farther away, which is why they switched to a telescope and a helicopter, because it would have been much too diffused, where all they needed was to have the telescope line facing the helicopter, and then the helicopter flew farther away, miles away, and they were discovering that as they kept in alignment so that they were still visible, because all you had to do was, okay, can you see me in the telescope? As they got farther and farther away in the helicopter, were realizing they were getting higher and higher above the landscape. And then when they said, okay, they went to a point where there was an island in the middle of this lake, and then they dropped down to land on the island. Well, they dropped sight that the guy could see in the telescope because the Earth is curved.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I get how it worked now. I was confused on the experiment. I get how, yeah.
All right, so
there's the elegant one. What's cute about it is they were able to know the distances that were traveled and the amount of up and down it was. For example, they could measure by an altimeter how far they were. The helicopter was off the ground when they were visible, and then how far down they were when they landed. And they could do the math themselves. They worked out just as Aristarchus, curvature of the Earth, within a reasonable slam dunk.
All right, so we have established that this is a laudable expedition. This is something we should do. Is that accurate?
I mean,
yeah, if he's fixed to a particular location and time, and it's feasible to get out there, that's one that's theoretically doable, and it could be an event sociologique. You got your cameras, you do the same experiment right alongside of him. Yes.
It might be an event to invite Jeremism to and do the experiment after he's done with his and show him how easy it is to prove.
Oh, I really love the idea. I really love the idea of doing it in an hour.
Because if
maybe a little over an hour.
Right in his face, he won't be able to deny it. It's right in his face.
Well, right next to him is good enough.
You really want to be sneaky. What you want to be sneaky about here is to know the date in advance, and we do the rehearsal to make sure we know all the moves, we know exactly where all the pitfalls are, we make sure everything is logical and effective, and then recreate it while he's doing his. That would be the best way to do it. You must do proper preparation.
Good thing we kept that little strategy secret, RJ.
Yeah, I know, right? What's up with that? We're only live here.
Yeah, there we go. Well, that's even more amusing there. That Jaren would theoretically be watching and listening, and his spies of Jarenism would be monitoring our every word.
All right.
Who's going to wear the fancy dress Stephen Hawking's outfit?
Not me.
Well, I could do that if you want, but I will have to have my hiking boots on because I'm going to be the one trudging.
All right, to trudge.
Okay.
Okay.
Very well. I once walked all the way from the Spokane airport into town because I couldn't afford to get a rental car. Long story.
Okay, did I hear a call? Did I hear a call to bring on the pug?
Bring on the pug! Pug!
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody on the panel. You guys rock. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for coming to join us. Couldn't do without you. And on that note, here comes the pug.
Here comes the pug.
I gotta imagine you actually do have the pug, correct?
Oh, indeed.
My grandma does too.
His full name is Buster the Atheist Pug. His full name.
I thought you were a pug.
Full name is Buster the Atheist Pug. When he first got him, he thought I was God, but he figured that out pretty quick.
I have no pug, but I do.
Buster says goodnight as well. Actually, he says whoops. Guys, there's supposed to be some good-natured banter going on. Banter away.
Banter? Ooh, what's banter? Forget this banter thing.
Doctor, there will be no banter. Doctor Who say there'll be no banter. I'm against it.
My wife would absolutely love that though. So that she's been having like no, my wife's been wanting to John for a while now, and she's kind of half suffering over it. So
you know what's cool about pugs? It's happy with 4 legs. That's all it is. It's got one emotion. Happy. That's all. Doesn't know anger. Doesn't know any of that stuff. It just knows happy.
Yeah, Thanos got a question for you there, Todd. How long till the movie night turns 1?
You know what? I think we might have passed that date.
Oh, I don't know. We'd have to go back and look.
Indeed. I will check. I'll have that answer for you next time. Guy Fawkes, happy to be here. Good night, all.
So yeah, great fun. Poor Buster. It looks like he's just having a grand time.